3, 2, 1. Leprechaun rap.
Oh, okay.
Hello, my name is Anthony.
In the hood. I'm Brian. Hello.
Hello, it's Silver here.
Hi, I'm Zander. I'm really tired right now.
Yeah, he is pretty tired. We kind of woke him up for this.
Maybe if you knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Fuck you! Look!
No.
But don't worry, he's still energized to continue our Leprechaun journey as we continue.
Yeah, let's go with that.
As we continue our epic Leprechaun journey throughout the LCU. And this is part 2, so...
This is the climactic, what am I calling
so if
the
you're a
end
true
of
Leprechaun fan, you should
Leprechaun.
watch the first part first. It should be the first thing you do. I'll leave the link in the description, or just like look under the video on the channel. But yeah.
This part has the first Leprechaun where you need context.
Yeah,
exactly. Because we're about to enter a new
the last one we're
age
discussing
of the
is the last one we're discussing is related to the first movie. So in fact, you should check part 1. Yeah, you should check part 1.
So after this, we'll start talking about other movies again, because other movies do exist.
We've been trapped.
That aren't Leprechaun.
Yes.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
we've been trapped in Leprechaun limbo. It's crazy.
Stuck in this cage when I'm forced to watch.
I swear to God, I've
Leprechaun
had to worry about this Leprechaun podcast for like 3 months.
Yeah, we've been planning this for like a month, and we're finally doing it. Probably more than that, to be honest. But anyway, speaking of watching
Leprechaun.
Speaking of watching other movies, CinemaCon recently happened, which is something I usually don't read up upon, but there were some interesting things that were happening, and I guess we'll talk about that. So, yeah. I guess one thing I'd like to mention is probably the early screenings for the Flash movie.
Wow.
And how people are saying it's the best, just the best DC movie since The Dark Knight, if not better, which is
They say that every time. Like,
they say that every time.
But like this time, everyone seems incredibly passionate, and it's to the point when I feel like these people are getting paid or something. So something's going on here because
they're just really. They're just no. They're just really avid fans. I just have this core belief.
I'm assuming there's a lot of fan service in the movie, and it's supposed to change and at least fix the DCEU.
In the second trailer for The Flash, I think YMS also pointed this out. Before they even put the Flash logo on it at the end, they put the Batman and Superman logo. Yeah. And so like. It's clearly just fan service at this point. And they're just trying
I noticed that as well. Like,
there's so
wow, Batman! It's Batman, guys. You notice in the first trailer they put so much like attention on Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah,
it's like it's Batman, guys. It's Batman. It's like a Batman.
People talk more about him than Flash.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because of Ezra Miller, and no one wants to see him.
Of course it is.
It's because look at the poster. They're basically hiding Ezra Miller's face, and I can't say I blame them. So
such a funny situation.
They're very
stupid.
Such a strange situation because they invested so much goddamn money into this movie. And then so many terrible things happen, and now they can't go back, and they have to
make this movie now, and that's why they're using it as an advantage to fix everything that they have done with this mess of a universe.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the budget is $300 million plus marketing. And that's like an extreme amount.
Even some of the visual effects don't look good.
Yeah.
So where did that money go? What a mess. I feel like this
probably cost like the 10 years of production, so it's like
Yeah, I don't know. Also, there's 2 Ezra Millers in this movie because, of course, there is. Because one is not enough. One is not enough.
One was not enough. Wasn't enough.
We need 2 of them. 2 of these psychopaths. But it wasn't just the Flash. But I think that was the most notable thing that was shown. If we're all being honest. But there were there were 3 days. It's over now. CinemaCon, I'm pretty sure. It's over. There were early screenings for The Flash, and everyone is calling it this cinematic masterpiece. We also got information such as a plot summary for Kung Fu Panda 4, which was released.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh god. Oh god.
I'm gonna say like it's terrible, but it feels like very weird and unnecessary.
I would not go terrible, but like the thing is, it seems far too well. We can't tell how much each villain will be used, but it seems like too bloated. Because like bringing back Kung Fu Panda, I was already skeptical about that. The only reason I kind of wanted it is because we thought Joel Crawford was attached.
Yeah,
but turns out that was just rumors.
2 goated sequels.
Yeah, but now we have this other guy, forget his name. I know he directed Shipwreck. Yeah.
Mitchell,
the director of Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwreck.
Has a very mixed bag of like features because he has a good movie, Lego Movie 2, not really that much, and then Shrek, Final Chapter. These are like good movies. They have like large problems.
Megamind, but then he directed shit like
I think
Trolls.
I think he acted.
Wait, no, that was his actor. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh yeah, he did directed Trolls. Okay, my bad. But yeah, he directed shit like Trolls. He also directed Sky High.
And a random Rob Schneider comedy, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's interesting filmography. He's also. Wait, no, never mind. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know, and it feels like they're just trying to, like, recycle, like, the villain, since I guess the villain has the power to recreate villains from Poe's past, which, like, I don't know. I feel like that could go wrong.
That's a weirdly, like...
With a movie, it doesn't really feel like it has much.
Such a specific power for someone.
Such a specific, strange power to put like, in the 4th movie of your trilogy. It's like
yeah, kind of a weird. It feels like I don't know, and it's kind of like feel like they're throwing, and I feel like people are like excited for that just because they're bringing back all the villains, and like that might be cool, but it feels
but see, all the villains work for like their self-contained stories. I'd like argue the first Kung Fu Panda, especially, that movie works really well because it's like relatively simplistic and it works for that. But if you're adding like at the minimum 4 villains, because you have the new one and obviously the previous 3 for each movies, that's already a lot. And it's like, well, they already kind of had their like, well, not development, but they had like their arcs and everything. So bringing them back's not going to mean anything.
The thing is, if you bring them back, I don't see them being compelling. I feel like they would be the thing in Avatar 2 where the
exactly
they comes back and he just wants to kill Jake Sully and that's it. Oh god,
yeah. I hope it's not as bad as that.
Because like if they're bringing them back for the sake of, they're either just going to have lazy motives or no motives just because they brought them back.
Yeah, like I don't know. I like the idea of Poe trading a protege, but like I hope they focus more on that instead of like these poor like this recycle villains. But I'm not gonna say I hope there's still hope. I hope this movie can still be good because I don't want them to derail this franchise or anything because I really like the first 3 movies.
Oh, no, I don't want it to be bad, obviously.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I'm gonna see it no matter what, but I just really
the plot description just is not very.
It's not a
promising.
good first impression. But I'm not gonna say that the movie's 100% gonna be bad because it's just a plot summary and we don't have much detail. We'll see if they use the same visual style as they did with Puss in Boots 2, which would be nice.
I doubt it would. It's not the same director or like anything.
Yeah, true. But
like
we'll
that.
See. That'd be cool though if they do that. I'm not sure if they will.
It would be neat.
I don't
they could stylize it a bit.
But like, why would they change like the art style like in the 4th movie? Maybe they could like add a bit more to it, but it's like
Well, I don't think they would go for the Puss in Boots style specifically because that was made for like a fairy tale kind of
exactly. That was another thing because that's made for like fairy tales because of the paintbrush style. But for like something like Kung Fu Panda, I guess you could do like something like the opening.
Yeah, you could stylize it, but not in like the same way.
You could do it like the same thing with like the DreamWorks opening intros for all the Kung Fu Panda movies, where it's like stylized but like de-emphasize it a bit. They could do that.
Puss in Boots 2-way, yeah.
We're not in the Puss in Boots 2-way, no.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but those were probably the most notable announcements for me. There were also other stuff, like the fact that they announced like they announced like 2 SpongeBob movies.
Oh yeah,
in, like,
they
the
did.
Same week.
Yeah, they did.
One is about focusing on Sandy, and the other is about the Flying Dutchman. And I'm all like, really? Because I feel like at this point, if this keeps up, we're gonna get more. We're gonna have more SpongeBob movies than The Land Before Time.
Oh no!
Yeah,
No.
well,
No, please no.
I think, that sounds like a joke, but unironically, I remember reading like an interview. I forget if it was like a Paramount executive or like Viacom Nickelodeon. It was one of those, but they were like talking about how they unironically want to make SpongeBob this like cinematic universe thing, like with like all the shows and stuff that they're like, and all the spin-offs and films they're doing now. And I don't think I need to explain how that doesn't work for SpongeBob. That's like.
Yeah.
No matter the quality of it, that's
gonna
not
top the first movie.
well, yeah, obviously, but like SpongeBob's just not made for that kind of thing. And I think I also just don't think something like okay, so the ideas they have for both of these other two movies, they don't seem like they need to be movies though, because like the Flying Dutchman one, they've done episodes of similar concepts like that. You don't need that to be a movie. And the Sandy thing just seems lame. Like, you don't need to make that into a
Sandy movie. It's like, I don't know. They're also using the same style from Sponge on the Run, and I guess that was like the only good thing about that movie.
Yeah,
but like at the same time, I don't see the point of keeping this up.
Yeah, no, that sucks to me too. Because the thing is, obviously, that's a nice looking style. It's one of the best things about that movie. I'm not gonna knock it for that. But it also sucks because like we barely get any 2D anyway. So it's like, oh, okay, we're just gonna have another CGI SpongeBob movie.
Also,
yeah, especially since both the first two SpongeBob movies look really, really nice. So it's like,
I'd say like the second one is a mix between CG and 2D, but still looks.
And the CG in that movie looks nice, but I love the 2D at the beginning, especially. Yeah. Great stuff.
They hold, but I don't know. We'll talk about the SpongeBob movies another day because we've kind of teased that before, especially since my icon is Squidward, so that kind of fits it with it. So
true.
Yeah.
Mr. Krabs beat the Squidward.
Yeah. I guess that's there's also other stupid things. Like this bizarre thing that I thought was a joke was that apparently in the new Smurfs movie, it's gonna have music by Rihanna and it's gonna be voiced by Smurfette, which I thought was a joke.
Oh yeah.
No, but no, she appeared on stage and like sung or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Why are they still making these Smurf movies? Why do they do this?
Well, it's been a while at this point. It's been like 6 years since Lost Village does. So I guess they got it.
There's gonna be a new Hunger Games movie. Everyone's excited for that.
Yeah, and a sequel to Smile.
I know a single person who wants to see that.
Yeah,
I know someone who likes Hunger Games, but I don't think even
I
they
haven't
care.
watched a single Hunger Games movie.
They're all lame.
Well, yeah, how did you feel, Zander? Since I don't think we mentioned it, but how do you feel about the Saw X logo reveal?
At least it's a decent logo, but for me, I've been traumatized by the Saw franchise because if anyone follows my letterbox, they know I did like a big long review on Spiral, and then I got like really mad and like lost my mind during Jigsaw. And so, considering all that, I'm open to rewatching them, and I'm open to seeing this movie.
Also, they announced a sequel to The Black Phone, which I haven't watched. But how do you feel about that?
Okay, so this is only like an inside thing because Black Phone, not a good movie. But the weird thing is, it is one of like it's like the 7th highest grossing like Blumhouse like film. And second of all, people love this movie apparently. Like on TikTok, people love this movie. On like back when it released, like everyone was talking about it for some reason. And then now it's getting a sequel. And for me, the only reason I hate this is because of a certain person I won't name because they made constant jokes about Black Phone.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. I'm really angry at him. But soon. Even he knew that the sequel was a terrible idea. So that should tell you how much of a stupid idea this is. Because The Black Phone is a very self-contained story. You have a boy. He gets kidnapped, and he does stupid shit while this like fucking the. I don't even care enough to remember his name, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna
I think
keep
it was the
checking you."
grabber.
The grabber.
The
Yeah.
grabber.
I hate saying that name for no reason. I'm not gonna explain. And so it's just like the kid, he like breaks windows and he's just like doing stupid shit. But by the end, spoilers, he escapes, and the grabber fucking dies. So like,
Oh no, he does. Oh,
but
Hey, don't spoil the black phone. This isn't a
You
black
think-
phone. This
not
You
the
think-
grabber.
what did you expect that the grabber would kill him and then he would survive? Like, what are you guys expecting from this movie?
Yeah. Also, they announced 2 other Blumhouse sequels. I mean, they mentioned this before, but went more in depth. Like Jason Blum said that he wants to make Mithrigan a franchise, which we've talked about.
That was
on the
expected.
podcast.
I expected
That
that,
would've
but I
been
hate it.
Are we gonna feel obligated to watch all of them?
No,
we
no.
already talked
I'm
about
gonna.
this?
Okay.
I
I'm
don't.
gonna-
Knowing
I'm
you,
gonna
you'll make me
stand-
watch all of them, but
I'm
I
gonna,
won't.
I'm gonna stand against this. Just put your foot down on this because it's not. Because right now it's one movie. It's a terrible movie, and we
Yeah,
should
that's
move
not-
on with our lives. We should just move on.
And historically, a slasher franchise is always
She did
begins
the
the best
dance.
movie. So like, I hate the.
Yeah, it is a
Mithrigan
very
bit.
lame movie, but we went more in depth on that in another video. So
Yeah.
There was also a sequel to Smile announced, and if we ever talk about that, hopefully Brian listens to watching the movie next time.
Hey, we had a good night that time. Back off. Hey,
Anyways, yeah,
Hey.
they're making a sequel to Smile, which we hope is called
please.
Smiles, since it would make
I
sense
would
for
be
it to
happy
be
with
plural. Since it's a sequel, plural, more is better, or some shit. I don't know. It would make sense.
John Krasinski is making his new movie. Is
I
everyone
think it's
excited
something
for
I'm
that?
about
really
it.
excited for that.
And he said it would be a mix of like what was it again? Like live action and like
He
Yeah.
said something
Like
like
a
a
Disney movie.
Pixar movie or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
mentioned Pixar. Also has Ryan Reynolds in it, apparently.
Apparently, it's
So-
like it's like Ryan Reynolds' Pixar movie, and that single thing alone made me just never want to watch this movie. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
And then-
I kind of am curious about how because if it's like described, but I don't know if that means it'll be good or interesting. It just has an interesting description to it. Maybe just pulling words out of his ass that doesn't make sense. But
He's probably just pulling
who
words
knows?
out of his ass.
yeah, I guess that's like kind of all I
Oh,
usually.
well, let's talk for. I have a couple other things.
Alright.
Well, we all know like Nolan's releasing his new movie. They talked about
Oppenheimer,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. Napoleon, which used to be Kubrick's Napoleon, is now Spielberg's Napoleon, and will be releasing on Apple TV Plus. Apparently,
I had heard about that. I'm curious about that because the whole situation with Kubrick's Napoleon movie is like really interesting to me. So
because this movie was meant to be made after Eyes Wide Shut, or even, I think he planned it even before then, but he was planning to make it.
I think he planned it before, but the idea didn't work out, so he had to move on to like other
Had to
projects.
move on.
I'm pretty sure.
And in the meanwhile, he made Eyes Wide Shut, and originally he was making AI, artificial intelligence, until he tragically passed away. And since Spielberg is a very good friend of him, he wanted, I guess, to make Napoleon like a thing. So that's
Yeah.
And then
I'm curious. AI has like mixed reception, so I don't know how well.
plus, there's gonna be like another. There's
handling
also gonna be
Kubrick stuff.
another Napoleon by like Ridley Scott. So that's even more interesting.
Oh,
That's happening.
I don't know.
yeah. Is
sounds
that like
interesting,
there isn't much interesting with
Uh,
news. I mean, there were other like footage.
There was a bunch of
stuff.
news. Honestly, it was
a
kind
bunch
of
of news.
overwhelming. Like every
Yeah.
time I checked, I was like,
A
"Oh,
lot of it wasn't
another
like,
announcement, another
Oh.
announcement."
New footage was shown for like Mission Impossible: Dead
yeah,
Reckoning,
I
which
know,
I'm
but,
very
that's kind
excited
of just
for
like
that.
new footage
Yeah.
for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of new footage for stuff, but also we have like actual more photos than just one photo for like Killers of the Flower Moon from Martin Scorsese. So that's cool because I've seen that same fucking image where like Leonardo DiCaprio is like looking up with his like wife, and it's like, okay, finally I get like at least one other photo than this. So I'm interested in that movie because that's apparently like 4 hours long too. And so, to be honest, I don't really like The Irishman that much. So that piques my interest even more if it'll be better than that or not. And then we have like, there's a theatrical Avatar: Last Airbender movie. Apparently,
I haven't seen the whole show yet, but oh well.
Me too.
I don't think that'll be good. I'll be honest. I don't think it'll be good because the creators of the original show went on to make Legend of Korra, and that was terrible.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've
that
heard
makes
very
sense.
divisive things about the Legend of Korra.
Korra probably sucks, but I probably won't watch
Okay,
it.
basically just think the Star Wars sequel trilogy, but for Avatar.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
It kind of sucks. Anyways,
it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is like the main thing for me is just the humor.
Yeah, I think it's the humor that's kind of like annoying me with it.
Cool, but the humor is terrible because it's Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen will be a part of the.
So mainly it's just the humor for me, and it's probably because of Seth Rogen that like the movie might end up just being bad.
Yeah,
straight up.
I don't know if it'll be like bad. There's potential, and I like it's just the visuals and just the humor that's like kind of derailing it for me.
There's a weird amount of just pop culture name drops that I'm like on the edge on. Like, okay.
I don't know.
I think
Like mentioned Shrek in the first trailer, and apparently, I forget what it was, but like the tweet mentioned other stuff.
They
mentioned
Shrek. That was
and
like,
they mentioned Megamind and Gru apparently. So
Yeah. See, that just like okay. You're just saying things, and it's like I don't know.
That doesn't.
It's not even just that. I feel it feels out of place with like TMNT as a franchise too. So it's like okay.
Anyway, it'll at least be better than the Michael Bay ones.
Well,
also, there's a weird thing happening. I forget that this happened because, you guys remember the movie Gladiator, right?
Oh yeah, they're making a sequel.
Yeah, they're making Gladiator 2 20-something years later. But the weird thing is, this has always been in development. Because originally Ridley Scott had planned him to come back alive and like go through history to kill Jesus Christ. I'm not joking.
I heard something about that.
Why?
Yeah, that was weird. I haven't even seen the first Gladiator.
Another one was like about his son, and I guess they're going for the son one.
33 AD.
Basically. And then so like they're getting like the hero's son, who's played by Paul Mescal and from After Sun and Normal People. He's going to be starring in it, and that's going to be releasing soon. And that's just such a weird thing to me because it's been like 20-something years, and so like
like with Chicken Run 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with Chicken Run 2, Dawn of the Nuggets too, and like
they're making that.
23 years.
I keep forgetting about.
It feels weird that these movies are coming out like 20 years after.
Yeah.
And specifically for Gladiator 2, the fact that it's like always been an idea for like a long time is just weird to me. I don't like
Chicken Run is also weird because that's like a very simple movie with a very like self-contained story to it. It's like I've heard plot stuff about this new one. It seems fine. I don't know.
Oh, but
animated,
Chicken Run is like the Aardman version of The Great Escape, except it's better.
Yeah.
All right, so I know,
but there's also David Gordon Green's Exorcist reboot. But no, let's not talk about that
because I think we should end here. We've already talked enough about stuff.
We kind of picked a bad week for news. There's like a lot.
There's like
some
a lot
of stuff we haven't talked about, but those are all the notable things that I feel like I felt like mentioning.
There's Disney Switch, but who gives a?
I don't know. Also, there was no FNAF news, which I know I keep mentioning FNAF, but I just can't wait to see that movie. But I think it had something to do with the fact that it was like releasing on streaming the same day. They wanted to promote the movie or something. I'm not sure, but like I think it had something to do with that, of why there wasn't really any like news for that movie. So, anyways, so let's okay, that's enough. I guess we'll go into Leprechaun. Leprechaun in the Hood. Yeah, Leprechaun in the Hood. Let's go to the Hood.
We are in the hood.
We are in the hood. Now, Now we're in part 2 of Leprechaun of the LCU, so this is when things change. The hierarchy of the Leprechaun universe has now changed. So,
that's mainly because the thing is, if we were comparing, I think this half of the Leprechaun movies is way more distinct. Not to say that the first 4 are extremely similar movies, because they're not. But like, I don't know.
All of them are.
These all have like right away. These have like a different vibe to them, kinda. Especially these hood movies, and then Origins also has a different vibe, but that sucks. We'll get to that.
We'll
disaster
get to that
later.
Yeah.
Anyways, so for this movie, it's a very interesting and logical leap to go from space to the hood, because like that, of course, that's all very logical.
We're going back to basics, you know.
Back to
we already hit
back to
peak,
reality.
We're going down.
Yeah. So this plot, I'm gonna try my best to describe the plot of these movies, just for those who decide to watch this movie without watch this episode without familiarity with the Leprechaun, so basically the Leprechaun, it basically follows these 3 guys in the hood who are trying to make it in the music business, and then they try to make a deal with this rapper guy who stole who stole the Leprechaun's gold and like trapped him with the amulet, because in this movie, apparently now the amulet is his weakness again, but in the next movie it's something different. It's a whole thing. But now the amulet is his weakness again and turns him into stone. So what they do is one day the guys break into the guy's house to steal the gold that he stole from the Leprechaun, and then he takes the amulet, and that makes the Leprechaun awaken, and now he's after them, and that's kind of the movie. That's the basic plot.
Typical Leprechaun shenanigans.
And the Leprechaun and the rapper guy who stole from the Leprechaun are now after him. There's also like this whistle thing that the Leprechaun just has. This like flute. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also spoilers for the next 4 Leprechauns.
Spoilers for all of these.
We're gonna go in deep with our thoughts. We're just gonna jump into all of them. So that's the basic plot. This movie does not feel like a Leprechaun movie. I thought it put on the wrong movie when I started watching the opening, because it has such a different tone.
No, the opening is really weird. The Leprechaun just like sitting on these stairs randomly, and he does like his usual rhymes and stuff. It's like, I don't know.
It's like they don't explain it. It's just like,
and the opening credits too. And out of that, they have like a different vibe to it's odd.
In one way, I kind of appreciate that opening, because it's like, after all that absurdity of going to space, it's like, okay, we're going down all the way back to basics.
We're going back down.
We're no longer in space, okay?
He's
this
down
is
in
a
this
different Leprechaun.
level.
This isn't the one who died in space. This isn't the one who melted to death. This isn't the one
This isn't the pedophile
who fell down the well.
No.
It's the guy in the heat. The Leprechaun in this movie is just like a crime boss, especially near the end of the movie when he just like he uses his powers to abduct and control women for his own.
He's kind of like the successful. He's kind of like the. He's kind of like the successful, but also like very unspecial, like brother of like 4 siblings, because he's just like, okay, I'm just here.
I feel like this and Back to the Hood are like the most offensive Leprechaun movies. It's just in like social
Back to the Hood more so.
Yeah, like the weird ass scene when the main characters try to hide with this trans woman, and then they try. And then there's like this scene where the Leprechaun is supposedly. It's a very uncomfortable scene, and then the Leprechaun kills the trans woman, and now he's after them, and it scenes like this that just like, what am I watching? This isn't a Leprechaun movie.
When they go and drag at the end too,
the rat.
They also have
we need
to
acknowledge the elephant in the room. The rat.
Wait. We also have the bit where one guy starts using the word ninja.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Wait, that's in Back to the
Hood.
That's in Back to the
was
Hood.
that? Oh yeah, it was in Back to the Hood.
Yes, Back to the Hood. It's
Okay,
Back
we're
to
getting
the
ahead
Oh
of
my god, I'm
ourselves.
sorry.
I mean, to be
I
fair, it's
confuse these
easy.
movies for some reason.
Oh yeah, that was in. Okay, yeah, it was in the other
Yeah.
movie. You know, it's easy to get these two movies confused.
Even though they're
Like,
entirely
I say
separate films.
Yeah,
They're
they
entirely
have the
separate.
same
And then
type
they're not
of
even
code.
connected. It's weird.
It's
Yeah,
weird. It doesn't make much sense.
Why would he go back to the hood when it's not even the same guy?
The thing is,
Yeah.
I kind of
He's technically in the hood again, so
It's like the meta sense that hey, here's a leprechaun back in the hood.
that's right.
Yeah.
We're going back to the hood.
yeah.
There's
I don't
another
know.
leprechaun back in the hood.
What,
Like
what,
that.
I love the church scene when the guys use
Oh,
the
I love
flute
that
just to
part.
make
Oh, that's
everyone
cool.
like bop to their epic raps.
And the church rap
It was
is
so
iconic.
funny.
That's a great
Movie
scene.
funny.
Jesus loves
I have
me,
said-
this I know.
Jesus,
If it
look,
don't,
whatever I
I'll find it. Oh.
It was so out of nowhere. I also love
Yeah.
like everyone's reactions to the flute because how awkward and just weirdly presented. They all just like slowly stand there like it's the flute.
Everyone's
They
so
don't just, like,
shocked. not to-
stand there.
It's
very
like
stiff
there's no
and are
like
just
there's no
hypnotized.
there's no indicator of the hypnotization. There's no like zoom in. There's no like anything. They just start.
Just
staring.
kinda
Yeah, it also
happens,
feels
yeah.
like the leprechaun
Yeah.
wants his flute more than his gold, which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
That was a bit weird. And also, they don't bring the flute back in the next leprechaun.
The weird thing to me is,
so
like-
these don't take place in the
Okay,
same world.
leprechaun. The leprechaun with his hands and with like, and he can like take control of people. But why would he need the flute, which also takes control of people? That doesn't
Yeah.
that seem like kind
Okay,
of
by all accounts,
It's
it
true.
makes sense.
it's like you need two different methods of controlling people. No, you don't. You're like,
I
Yes,
don't
he
know.
does.
I don't know. The leprechaun just greedy. He just likes stuff. All
He
right,
likes money.
what's the flute?
it seems like he's
yeah.
just
But
wasting
yeah,
his
also you
time.
gotta love the scene where like the boss is in like the boss rapper guys like in the bathroom, and then he just gives the leprechaun and he just starts to smoke.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
wait,
the-
no. The scene's so stupid because he's like, look at this little kid. I'm gonna give him smoke. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why aren't you reacting to any of this?
Um,
But you know, I don't
Have
care.
such a
He's
casual
like,
reaction to it.
This also leads to one of the best leprechaun rhymes. A friend with weed is a friend
friend
indeed,
indeed.
but a
Yeah.
friend with gold
Gold
is the
is
best
the
time
best
told.
time told.
That's one of the best
Yeah.
leprechaun rhymes.
Yes.
It's great.
Great bit.
Sorry
Yeah.
if you weird random thing to bring up is sorry if you hear my mouse click
Yeah.
click in the background. I can't really do that with my mic, so just anyways, yeah, back to
I
the
did not
discussion.
notice that.
Just
Anyway.
discuss just something if just in case you're wondering for those who are watching. So
Yeah. Alright.
anyways, yeah, back to the movie. It's just like very weird. It's a very
I don't know if you guys-
interesting movie.
I don't know if you guys agree, but I think I enjoyed this more than the couple last ones. At least these two hood films.
Better
I
than
was like,
Space,
I
I'd
was-
say. I'll give it that.
better than Space. Arguably, this is like one of the top enjoyable leprechauns for me. I'm not
Really?
entirely sure why.
What?
I
Okay.
don't know. Well, not like top. Obviously, like
Honestly,
almost
it's funny.
good
I
higher.
find this movie
Yeah, no,
hilarious.
That's funny.
yeah. I think it's just because they both have these like,
Weird-ass
especially
bones.
this and Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which we'll talk about. They both have this very specific like 2000s vibe to them with all like the all the rap stuff and like everything, and it's like I don't know, something about that is really entertaining to me, and then you combine that with the usual Leprechaun
Yeah, I
stuff.
remember someone in the movie calling the leprechaun a midget Midas motherfucker. It was funny. I even put it. I have it here in my notes, which are reading, since I take notes while watching these movies. So
The weird thing
Well,
is
you need to for the Leprechaun.
this movie and Origins, I did barely any notes because the main thing about In the Hood, it was a very smooth production. Nothing bad happened.
Oh,
So
oh.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't
that's
know. It's a very weird movie. Also, the leprechaun rap at the end. They are.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's
They
part-
would say
Right.
more. But he's
Yeah.
just spit
Yeah.
straight bars, spits fire, flip in the hood, doing no good. Damn, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's
That's
really
a great way to end the film. Like,
Yeah, I like how they don't explain why the hell he's rapping, how the hell he's alive after he supposedly dies. They just cut to him in this random ass bar and he just starts rapping. They don't explain it. They don't know where he is. He's just rapping now.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Crap. Who cares? It's Leprechaun. Just, who cares? Who cares?
Let Leprechaun have his rap.
Yeah, another weird
Enjoy
thing
his time in the hood.
that has really stuck with me about this movie is the part where the Leprechaun rhymes thieving hoods with Tiger Woods. Now, it's a very complicated line because that means that the Leprechaun is somehow aware of the existence of famous golf player Tiger Woods. So he could either be watching golf, he could have just made up that name and had no idea who Tiger Woods was, and it was just a weird coincidence, and he just needed a rhyme. Or he could just be watching golf. So the Leprechaun watches golf.
You know,
it's implied that.
Leprechaun loves golf.
I hope Leprechaun is a golf fan.
Yeah, he's probably a golf fan. I dared to challenge the Leprechaun to a golf match.
Maybe that could be Leprechaun 9. Leprechaun 9, a golfing film.
A golfing film, yes, Leprechaun 9. And if there is a Leprechaun 9, you bet your ass we're reviewing that when it comes out.
Of course.
If it ever comes out, who knows?
Opening night.
Opening day. Just opening day, we're seeing that.
But there's not too much to this one. It's mostly a hangout movie where we see these three guys are just trying to build up their street cred and have their own.
I remember that one of the guys is a virgin, and they make multiple jokes about that for some reason.
Yeah.
But he gets told to get bitches. I remember that specifically.
Okay.
You know, it was
these like main three. They're not like the most notable characters, but they're not the most terrible characters.
Yeah.
They're just.
I find them entertaining, but
you
they're
weren't
not like
invested in the journey of Postmaster P.
Oh, you know, I was definitely.
I was very invested in Postmaster P's struggle.
He's one of the best Leprechaun characters, personally.
I find this random scene that I find funny, which I think is supposed to be like a dream sequence when the Leprechaun just walks into Postmaster P's mom's house, and then since his mom is blind, he has no idea who the Leprechaun is, and he just starts eating and There's scenes like that that just feel like, what is this Leprechaun doing? There's so many scenes when he's just hanging out and doing whatever and not even asking about his gold. Sometimes he's smoking, sometimes he's eating. It's just a very weird detail character.
It feels like a casual stoner Leprechaun movie.
And it's weird. Sometimes Leprechaun doesn't feel like. Well, I don't want to say he doesn't feel like an antagonist, but he's not the only antagonist in this one. So
he's more like a crime boss the way he acts.
Yeah, he's one of the least threatening Leprechaun portrayals.
Yeah,
very casual.
He just seems normal. He's not different or anything. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the only really weird thing about this movie is just the stereotypes. Of course, the whole the trans prostitute just really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, that was a very weird scene. I had no.
Yeah, that stuff is you can tell when it was made. It's early 2000s.
Stuff like that.
Questionable trans.
Because they're clearly sort of making fun of it, and it's kind of just.
Yeah, just how unsettling they try to make it as possible.
It's not very tasteful.
Weird product of the time. It was
the weirdest part of the movie for me.
Yeah, and then the cross-dressing thing with the main final battle.
The entire climax is so weird. The gun shootout and everything.
He first goes up, then he goes down, and then the guy shows up and he's ready to shoot him. And then the Leprechaun kills him. And then now he's faced with the Leprechaun, and he somehow beats him. I don't know how. I forgot how.
He just throws and then that's supposedly
and then rap
on the Leprechaun, and then out of nowhere he just starts rapping. We just cut to him, and now he's rapping. So did he die? Did he die? I guess that's up to us for interpretation.
Okay, maybe the rap is Leprechaun in Purgatory.
Okay, no, it shows
Leprechaun Purgatory.
It shows at the end, in the 1v1, it's oh, this guy's about to die, but then they cut away, and it's what's happening now? And there's just a rap.
There's a rap now. They just cut to the rap out of nowhere. Wait, hold up, what? I have so many questions. What? Why is this happening?
The way they cut back between the dialogue between all three characters is just really weird to me. It's either sometimes fast paced, sometimes slow paced, and they make random cuts for no reason. Sometimes it's so weird.
Yeah, I also find it funny the scene like where one of like the main characters gets mad at the leprechaun, and this causes the leprechaun just to kill him. I don't know. I found that funny, just the way it was like, oh yeah, because one of the main characters dies due to the leprechaun's epic magic, and it feels like he wants his flute more than his gold for some reason, because
there's not as much leprechaun
just, like,
gold one
hypnotizes people, like just
doesn't have his signature
that he has.
He doesn't have a signature greed. He's just more of like crazy person who like smokes weed, walks around.
Yeah.
You know?
I kind of like it. Like personally, it's funny to me, but
it's stupid. It's awful.
Oh yeah, the only two. Actually, I forgot. There is only two facts I got. So the first fact is this is the last one released by Trimark. Because Trimark released one to like In the Hood, but the weird thing is there's of course Back to the Hood. I guess they didn't release that.
I guess
and
another thing explains why it wasn't in the same universe or something. I don't know.
And then.
Oh, yeah, the next one was like made by Lionsgate, so
yeah, exactly. That's when they switched out. And then another fact is, filming was briefly halted when Warwick Davis had chronic flatulence. No joke.
Oh.
Yeah, and then a power outage occurred, so that's even worse. And that was like a brief time where just everything just fell apart, but then they got back into it. Legit, the production of this movie went by so smooth, except for those two things, and it's really weird to me. Because this is like a movie that had like a bunch of writing issues, but no, I guess not.
No.
Yeah.
I guess they, like I said, they went back to basics. They went to space, and now Leprechaun can vibe.
Yeah, there's no like interesting facts. We're going back to it. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. What other notable things are there about this movie?
Nothing.
What's your guys' favorite kill of this one?
I don't know. I think I have something else to say. I remember what was there? There's another. Oh yeah, the scene near the end where the main character decides to dress up as a woman just so he could kill the leprechaun. There's a lot of trans jokes in this movie. I don't know if I mentioned that. Very weird tone. Like we stated, it's just and the characters in this movie are they're kind of funny, but I don't really care for them that much. Their characters, they're just kind of. They're also, I remember this like scene that was like. It was like a cartoon joke, like when the main three characters are hiding from the leprechaun.
I remember this. They're like the leprechaun just beside them, and they don't
just
register.
and then it's all like it's like a cartoon the way they present it.
They're being so blatant.
How it was Leprechaun 4, when like that plate hit the guy and the professor in the face, and then it just like distorts his head, and it's like a freaking cartoon. It's so stupid. I like I don't know, it's just funny.
It's just fine to me. In terms of like enjoyment, it's like fine to me. The main thing I liked was just the ending, and then that's
the climax is like really fun to me personally.
Yeah.
But,
anyway,
I think I'm the most positive on this one. Weirdly enough, I don't know. You guys got anything else to say?
That's why my mic is going. I don't know. My mic is a bit sensitive today. It seems.
All right.
But anyway, you guys got more to say?
Yeah, I guess we'll just get on through our ratings. Yeah.
I'll give this one. Okay, I'll give this one a 3. But I was pleasantly surprised by Leprechaun in the Hood. Great time had by me.
I'm also giving it a 3 out of 10.
As am I.
I give it a 25 out of 100.
Oh wow, Zander for once is the one who's the most harsh over a Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part, because I don't really like a lot of this movie. I think it's kind of boring sometimes.
Really?
I get
boring. No, this movie's fun.
No, I get why like people like this one, but also at the same time, Back to the Hood's better. So, yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Anyways,
Wow.
speaking of back to the hood, even though we were just in the hood, now we're going back to the hood. In the
And bear in mind, it's spelled "the" as in THA.
Yeah.
Back to the
because
hood.
we're edgy like that because it's in because because that's how people talk in the hood and
Because it's the early 2000s.
Yeah,
We're like cool.
It's the early 2000s.
Pretty
Funny.
cool, guys.
Yeah.
Very clever.
I think these Leprechaun these hood movies are trying to be cool. I can't tell, but like with the rap and everything, I don't know, but it's great.
I
These
can't
are
tell,
great films.
but based on Warwick Davis, all of these are ironic, so it's fine.
Well, I know like the Leprechaun rap, that was definitely ironic. They didn't do that
was
sincerely. But like all the other like rap stuff and lingo, I don't know. I don't know how much of that was like they knew it sounded funny.
I haven't found any interviews with the director of this movie, so I can't say anything about his intentions on it. So
Who knows?
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah,
Leprechaun in the Hood was one of the movies ever made. And now this is Back to the Hood
No.
is a slight Back to the Hood is honestly a slight improvement in my eyes. Still not good though.
They're like on par for me personally. But
yeah, so I guess so what happens in this movie is that a bunch of teens or whatever find the Leprechaun's gold and they use it, they spend it, and now the Leprechaun is hunting him for his gold back and out for
but
revenge.
the weird thing is at the beginning they like have a backstory.
Like, exposition with like this 2D illustrated.
Yeah,
opening. That was
Awesome.
the weird thing is it's weirdly well animated.
It's really well animated. It has like a high production value. Even like the cut to like the footage of like the book opening up. You could see the detail around the frame, and it's like
it looks weirdly nice.
But to comment on the book, it's also weird though because I'm pretty sure the book says this is like chapter 6. I'm like, wait, does that mean that all the other ones are chapters too? What does that mean?
Yeah.
How?
Also, they like this. Unlike in the Hood and like in space, they actually try to give a backstory for this specific Leprechaun, but like it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, and is honestly kind of pointless.
Honestly, you could remove the opening narration, and I don't think you'd lose much. From
So they just spent money on like 2D animation for nothing,
much.
and it actually looked good 2D animation.
It's like it's like when they switched to Lionsgate, they were just like, let's just spend all the money we want.
That's like probably where half of the budget went.
These are directed video and I guess DVD at this point too. So I guess.
Yeah. Also, this is the last Warwick Davis Leprechaun movie. So
no,
our good boy Davis is gone after this. So,
you're gonna miss him in the next one.
Yeah,
you're definitely gonna miss
him a lot.
You're gonna fucking miss him.
You're gonna miss him so much.
Oh my god!
This movie.
There's a good way to go out though. I'll say that much. He has another iconic performance.
So basically, let me just summarize the book backstory. They're like the king wanted to protect his ancient treasures, so he just got a bunch of leprechauns
to protect it. And then one leprechaun got very picky and nosy with his gold and wanted to like protect it.
If this is one universe, that doesn't make any sense. If it's as we say, a separate universe, it makes sense.
Despite this being back to the Hood, like it's supposed to, like it sounds like it's going to be a sequel to the first film, but it isn't. It is not.
Like, why did the gods give them free will? Why not just make them just robotic slaves instead of?
I don't know.
I don't get that part.
Yeah,
and
it's like
I don't get it.
Yeah, it makes as much sense as Eternals.
See, if it's one timeline, it makes no sense considering like reincarnation with different powers.
Yeah, so it feels like implied. For a second, I thought it was going to be like that. All the leprechauns were going to be like all like the leprechauns from the other movies, but no. Apparently, it just focuses on this specific one, and it isn't implied that like.
And that's a weird way to go about it. You don't really need it, and then at all, really.
My headcanon is that these are all in the same universe, but like we never focus on one leprechaun at the same time. We just bounce
and
around.
the specific opening scene just makes me think, these. If you didn't already know this, these are all just definitely unplanned and made on the spot. Like I said with Leprechaun 4, they made it because someone made a Photoshop version of the Apollo 13 poster. They quite literally are made because of shit posts. So
yeah,
Yeah. Also,
I don't know. This was literally called Back to the Hood. Obviously, they have
plus the tagline is "Evil has a whole new rap."
But there's no rap in this movie.
Sad.
Damn it.
Disrespectful.
This is as sad as the lack of raps in the third Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, even after the opening scene, they have like oddly like really good lighting and like fog machines like for like the opening where it's like the guy's like trying to hit the rainbow for no reason.
Yes, the rainbow effects are weird. I remember that, but like
the rainbow effects was like the most distracting part.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Also, like, I'm pretty sure in this movie, so the Leprechaun's weakness is kind of more complicated. I guess it's like, okay, so he dies near the end for cement, which I'm all like,
yeah,
how would that kill him? If he didn't die in fire, how is he gonna die in cement?
But the weird thing is at the beginning, there's like this guy had a bunch of Latin proverbs that he was like saying to the Leprechaun and like buried him momentarily. That's a weird weakness. And it's like, then they bring back the clovers, but they also have another weakness that's like really weird to me.
I think there's also holy water, because I noticed the priest in the opening tries to kill him with holy water or something. And they
like I said, the Latin proverbs and like the whole like holy water stuff. That's just really weird.
The Leprechaun's literally Satan.
The one thing I remember about the characters in this movie is the thing Silver mentioned earlier about them replacing the N-word with ninja.
Okay, that scene is so weird. They're like,
they say so weird
to me. Like, they have a whole thing
the white guy. No, the white guy actually
the white guy comes in.
He says the N-word and I'm like, what? Wait, what's going on? And then he's like, no, you're supposed to say ninja.
Yeah,
and it's
like,
and
then we have
everyone is. They like look over at him, but it's weirdly casual. They're just like, "Oh, I gotta say it like this," and then he does, and then he leaves.
Yeah, and then
and he's coming over for like weed or something. It's so weird. Oh yeah, they keep up.
Then we have the Leprechaun. He says, "What's up, ninjas?"
Yeah.
Imagine he said like the actual word.
I don't know.
I don't think Warwick
Davis would have done.
Nah, Warwick has taste.
Yeah, he's not that committed. I mean, he is pretty committed to these movies. Like we said in the last part, he is one of the better parts of these movies because he's trying way too hard, like a bit uncomfortable.
He has dedication, I will say.
Yeah, a lot of dedication. Also, I like the scene. This film also has a scene that is similar to the one we mentioned in the last movie, where one of the characters gives, in this movie, they give the Leprechaun smoke, and he smokes and gets high. And then, when he realizes the guy he was smoking with actually had a piece of his gold, their friendship is over, and he kills him. So that was one of the funniest scenes in the movie to me. Also, I love the massage scene when he just breaks into the massage parlor and just uses his claws.
Stomps on her with like his feet.
The weird thing, he uses his shoes. He uses his like feet, and she's like, "Wow, this is great."
Yeah, since when is the Leprechaun so good at doing massages? That's so a little weird.
If I had that thing on my back, I would be scarred for life.
I mean, she doesn't know it's her, but still. Oh yeah. Also,
I feel like you could pick up on something being weird after.
It's like, how do you not feel the feet or the shoes at all? Like,
it's so
how do
bizarre.
How do you not?
Yeah, I also
and then he just snaps her neck. It's like, all right.
That's for what actually like. The characters in this movie.
They have a
relationship problems. The two main characters have relationship problems.
The main one I remember is that some of them were like weirdly horny, which I guess is typical Leprechaun at this point, you know.
Yeah. There's also this like one fortune teller who like knows about the Leprechaun.
Yeah, and then at the end, for some reason he has magical powers. It's like, no, you could have told them about this, and you could have helped them too. So why are you like this? Why are you like this?
Why you like this? Why you so vague, huh?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Also, like the scene where the Leprechaun just keeps getting kicked down by like this gang leader guy, and he just
I love that too.
Just gets just uppercut right in with his leg, just like punching him down no matter what, and it's just like pathetic. And I'm all like, really, Leprechaun? And then he makes up for it by killing him. So yeah. And then like the gang that the leader was a part of, he was like they get like a really sad and emotional over it, which I find funny because it's a Leprechaun movie. I don't know. Also, the scene where the Leprechaun becomes a wanted criminal and steals a police car.
Let's not forget the auto refilling chest of gold. I don't get that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Apparently, the gold can just refill itself, and that makes one of the main characters want to keep the chest. So, yeah.
I guess I don't get why they did that. But,
and then the only reason they did that is because they wanted to like. I mean, in that case, I don't know. I feel like the Leprechaun could easily just steal his gold back or something. You know. I mean, it doesn't matter. I guess they don't need to collect his gold now. They just kind of, I don't know. But this time the Leprechaun is out for revenge as well because except for just wanting his gold, they just like go back for. I can't talk. So, I guess I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say.
But yeah. The weird thing is he's just after for revenge. He doesn't care that much about that gold, but it works here because the director's intentions was that he felt like the Leprechaun had just used too much magical powers. So throughout this entire movie, he barely uses it at all. And
that
so
makes sense because he's basically a god.
So when Warwick Davis read the script, he felt it was unique to change it to a more physical threat because throughout the movie, he's just like punk. He just keeps on like scratching people and like running towards them. There's no like magical powers used really, and so like it's an interesting take on the Leprechaun as well as the new costume design.
Yeah,
because apparently
we're not gonna green-eyed leprechaun zombies in this one.
The director Stephen Alrumi had been like dissatisfied with the like leprechaun costume design, so he changed it to more like of a darker and gothic Victorian design, and he like took away he took away the buckles, straps, and like added more muted colors. But it doesn't look like a gray mess. It looks like actually pretty cool. And it's like, you know, this director had good intentions. He wanted to make the Leprechaun a more like physical threat, and he gave him like a new design. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, gave him new drip.
Yeah,
new drip.
Good on him.
But yeah, the director of the last movie originally had for like the project in its early stages, came up with like two different stories. One of them was set in Venice Beach, and another set on an island during spring break. But due to the negative reaction of In the Hood, they just stopped. They just insisted they would never be set in an inner city with a primary cast made up of rappers. They didn't want to rehash the previous movie.
It's a very weird setting to put the Leprechaun in the first place.
And so Sparrow just left the project and was replaced by Steven. And it makes sense because Steven is a hardcore fan of the series, so that's cool, and it probably makes sense.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the characters also don't really have much going for them. There isn't even much I could say about them between the ones
they have relationship issues.
Yeah, that's it. And then there's this other guy who's just kind of there in the movie. He's just
one of the main
he's the ninja guy.
One of the most notable things, according to IMDb for trivia, is that this is the only movie where we see the Leprechaun's bare feet. I don't know why that. Whoever put that there, I hope they're happy.
This is the Tarantino Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, what an interesting fact. Was Dan Snyder part of this? Who knows?
Who knows?
The world may never know.
Maybe he just refuses to point out the involvement he had. But this one is like kind of standard compared to the other ones. Like it has its fair share of more funny, wacky moments, but it's still like still fun.
My favorite wacky moment is when the guy's leg gets ripped off.
The police officer.
And he still tries to walk.
He just had the most enthusiastic reaction to getting his leg ripped clean off by this graphic creature, and then his car gets stolen. That was so hilarious. Oh my god.
Also, continued weed in the Leprechaun bong scene when the guy lets him smoke.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
That's a great bit. Also, this is specific. I don't know if anyone noted this, but like one part, like after they unleash the Leprechaun, there's like a visual of him like looking over in like a tree, like over. I don't know why that stood out to me. It's like a funny visual. The Leprechaun's just up in up in the tree randomly.
He like
walking
crawls
around.
around a lot in this movie. Like he's a sneaky little bastard. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
it's just a sneaky little thing. The movie is like just there. The Hood movies, like
They just kind of exist in this plane of existence where they're after such like overly ambitious movies.
Yeah, most of
and
the
they
laughs
lie
you
in
just get
such
from like the setting alone and just how bizarre the
and
concept
they're
is.
so bizarre because they just go back to basics and the tone is way different. And these are like the last movies for like a long time.
And like I stated before, both of these movies, up till they introduced the Leprechaun, don't feel like Leprechaun movies at all. Especially the last one we talked about.
Because
It
in the
had
hood,
that problem too, but it's like less drastic.
so in the hood, like during that production, I guess the execs got like backlash, and so this movie is like trying to like rectify that. But another,
It's less offensive.
It's less offensive. That's
Well,
yeah.
Oh, I guess the N-word part is kind of weird, but other than that, not much.
that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not much like
The one thing I'll just continue to praise is just the director and for his choices for this movie. I appreciate the guy a lot for what he tried to do with what he had.
I respect that, you know.
Yeah,
if I was a Leprechaun fan who was gonna direct one of the movies, I think I would have failed. So I appreciate him for like being able to put something at least decent on like a Leprechaun scale through. It's pretty cool. I appreciate.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Good on him. This next movie has the opposite problem.
Hold on.
But anyways, yeah. So yeah, like we said before, there was like also a really weird inconsistent with the Leprechaun's actual weakness because he dies from cement, but like, would that really kill him? Like,
he's not really given like a direct weakness in this one.
Unless that turned him into the statue, and maybe there's a timeline we need to look more into. Maybe these are canon. Maybe there's a timeline. Maybe there's lore.
No, no, don't.
Maybe,
especially the movie.
You gotta get Matt Pat on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, the lore at the beginning, like, never pays off in any other way. Like, you could remove it.
I mean, they end with the book thing too, but that's still weird.
Yeah, like, why did they decide to do this, like, and not for something like in space or
because
in the hood, where the explanation would make more sense?
Oh, because
especially
it's
in space, when the Leprechaun just wants to conquer the galaxy now, like for some inexplicable reason. There's some bad effects, but honestly, I don't expect this movie to have good effects. So, yeah. It has a bunch of weaknesses, but let's just say, also, it feels like based off of some of the dialogue they give the Leprechaun near the end, they're trying to make this a finale, like, he's all like, I'm done with you people always stealing my gold, or something. It's like, the way they're framing it is like this is supposed to be some epic finale to the Leprechaun franchise.
You know, like, it kind of was,
not, I mean,
like a little bit.
It's the only
like a decade it was.
Leprechaun movie, with Warwick Davis. It's the only real Leprechaun movie that, like, do you guys know what I mean? I don't know really how to say it.
Yeah, no, I think I get what you're saying.
I get that.
Yeah, but it's a weird. These are weird movies. They have very similar problems and have a very all over the place and stupid tone with pretty lame characters that are only there for funny out of place moments that are hilarious. And yeah, it's just funny because of the concept alone to me.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys have to say?
I probably would have had. The weird thing is, I probably would have had more to say, but the weird thing is, I just found these interviews, so I could have used this, but I guess I just didn't find it in time. And I thought about listening to it last night, but I got too busy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I probably would have more fun, like interesting, information, but I guess not. This movie is all right. I like this movie a lot.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I think I was a little more into In the Hood compared to this one. You're
the weird guy.
Fair.
But
I think it's In the Hood 1 might be funnier, but I just think this is the better film in my eyes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I just find In the Hood more entertaining.
I mean, In the Hood is pretty funny. Like, I don't like the characters, but I do find them funny.
No, but they're fun characters.
Yeah, especially the church rap scene, which is
exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are sleeping on Leprechaun In the Hood.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't know which one of the Hood movies is more entertaining to me. It just depends on my mood. But if I were to say which one is better, Back to the Hood, and it's not by much. Fair. But
I think the thing is the Hood films, like enjoyment wise, that's like I've said, but I don't know. I feel like quality wise, they're like around the same tier for me. One could be like Back to the Hood's probably like slightly better, but I don't know. It doesn't matter that much to me anyway. So you guys want to get into ratings now?
I remember I was going to like I guess In the Hood, since we're still like talking about like I forgot to mention like In the Hood there was like a scene I remember where the leprechaun just randomly kills some guy in the alley by like becoming his like girlfriend or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot to note that scene. It's one of the weirdest kills. It reminded me of the one kill. They do a kill like that in Leprechaun too. I remember with like the fan kill.
That was
reminded me of that. Well, not the exact same, but yeah.
Anyways, I guess I'll give this a 3 out of 10.
3.
I will go 3 as well.
I give it 42.
So step up from the last 25.
The answer to the life universe and everything.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you have the weird Leprechaun takes. You're always like slightly different. Well, actually,
Xander might be kind of biased with some of his ratings for these movies.
Hey, well,
where you gave
you can't even deny
3
that.
Like a 60.
Okay, look.
Alright, anyways,
I try to be fair, but also I love these movies. I can't.
Fair. Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, hopefully we're done. Anyways,
Everyone's allowed to be
Davis, and I
biased.
think we're done with the Leprechaun hypnotizing woman. So,
Yeah.
But bad news is that after this, everything went to shit with Leprechaun Origins.
Yep. Okay. And before we start, I'm just going to establish.
This is the one that.
Wait. I just want to say, if you must watch this film, I pity your plight. It's an arduous bore, a complete load of shite.
What did you write that?
No, I found that on the In the Hood reviews.
Really? Oh my god, that's funny.
That more applies to Origins. Dang.
Okay, so anyway, this is a Leprechaun no one likes. Every Leprechaun fan is not a fan of this.
Everyone.
This is the Rise of Skywalker of the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's very easy to see say what you want about all 6 of the Leprechauns we have previously discussed. They all kind of suck, but they're all aware that as a franchise,
they know
the Leprechaun. You can't make a serious Leprechaun because Warwick Davis or whoever plays the Leprechaun walking around, it's gonna be goofy. But you gotta accept that. That's just kind of what you're getting into. And I don't care, it's fun. But with this, it's dreary. You can the lighting sucks.
Terrible.
And there's no Leprechaun for most of it. And when there is, they try to play it completely straight.
It's like
and
the
I
Leprechaun in this movie is like this foul Gollum, Lord of the Rings looking ass beast.
It looks disgusting.
Okay.
It's gross.
I hate it.
It's not funny. It's
such a weird thing to me.
Just
the fact that WWE, the wrestling company,
WWE made this movie.
The fact that the WWE movie studio produced a serious non-comedic remake of the Leprechaun films without Warwick Davis, but with a WWE wrestler Hornswoggle.
Yeah, famous wrestler Dylan Postal, aka Hornswoggle, is the Leprechaun.
The fact that they got him for that, and then they just covered him in makeup and made him not talk at all, is the worst thing ever.
The worst thing you could do is make Leprechaun not talk.
Perspective shots they use when he's killing people look terrible and are just so lame that we barely see him.
There's no effort put into anything. Yeah. And then it's mainly the color grading. It's like they put a bunch of black on it.
Version of it, and then it's like a Disney live action remake.
It's like they put a bunch of black and blue all over the fucking movie, and then they try to erase it. It looks gross.
Yeah,
it looks like someone puked on the fucking movie.
It looks like terrible shit.
You can barely tell what's going on. You can barely tell who's dying or what they're doing at all. You can't tell anything.
Yeah. Anyway,
nighttime scenes in the previous movies look like brighter than some of the scenes in this movie that you're just random. That's not even an exaggeration. Like it's so depressing to look at.
Yeah. I was gonna say. So I'm gonna try and what happens in this movie, which I'll try and explain despite how fucking boring. Yeah. Not really, actually. Barely anything happened. So
barely anything happens because they're trapped in
a lot of it. They're just in a house
running away from the leprechaun the whole movie, and we barely see him. So like,
and then at the end, we're supposed to like be surprised that the town's like sacrificing them. It's like,
yeah,
Well, you could have established more about the town.
Yeah, this movie.
But no, you just trapped yourself in the house.
Want to know what was insulting to me? That this movie has a moderately similar plot beat to Willy's Wonderland, which makes me wish I was watching that movie instead. You see, when we talk about Willy's Wonderland, there's a plot beat in that movie where the sheriff of the town offers sacrifices to these monsters so they won't harm the residents of the town. So it's like, it's similar, and that reminded me of that, which made me wish I was watching that movie.
I just thought about the fact that, like, why didn't they just burn down that place and everything would have been fine?
Yeah, I mean, they don't know he can survive fire. I mean, this isn't Davis's Leprechaun. This is Hornswoggle's Leprechaun, which isn't even a leprechaun.
You can barely tell what Hornswoggle even looks like. Because
why did they have to get a wrestler to play this thing? Why? Huh? Was this an
Let me find a photo of him.
I think probably just to get people in seats.
Yeah, probably.
Because this was in theaters for a little bit.
It was? Oh, God. I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is what Hornswoggle looks like. You can barely tell in the whole goddamn movie. You can barely tell.
That's just a normal dude, and he plays this golem. Also, speaking of Lord of the Rings comparison, this movie has a very similar font in the poster to Lord of the Rings for some reason.
Oh, yeah, it does.
He's even holding, like, treasure. Like, they're trying... This is like a freaking Lord of the Rings poster ripoff. Like, what the hell? Why
Look at this! Look, font? He already has a wrestling outfit for like a leprechaun. Why can't they use that?
Yeah,
I want this. Why can't we have that? This guy feels like he's built to be a silly leprechaun, but they made him this not even recognizable
beast thing. Anyways, what kind of happens is that these 4 teens who have barely any personality are going to, I think they go to this town or something, and then, I don't know, some guy tells them about this historical artifact somewhere, and they, like, have to hike to this place for, like, days on end, and for some reason these teens think it's worth it to hike for, like, days on end just to see some artifact, I guess, and then they hide in the cabin in the woods, and then the rest of the movie is just them running away from the leprechaun with nothing happening, no reason to care about anything that's going on. It's boring as fuck. I just could not stand this movie. It was so boring. It was just... That's half of the thing I could say. It's just boring. Nothing happens. Barely anything happens. We already said in our In Space review that a lot of the movie was the main characters like running from the leprechaun in like the spaceship, but this is
even more so.
Yeah, like if you remove all the funny parts and have absolutely nothing happen, also the movie looks ugly, just really ugly, just awful color palette and cinematography and
the fact.
Some terrible angles.
The weird thing is between these two movies, Back to the Hood and Origins, they have completely separate directors. Because Stevens, whatever his last name is, for Back to the Hood, he got the job on a whim. I just learned about this. He got the job on the whim because he had a friend that worked at Lionsgate who knew that they were making a new Leprechaun, and he made a gamble on it. And he clearly cared about what this movie is. It's not high art or anything, but he tried. He tried his goddamn best to make a good movie. But the director for this movie, I forget his name.
Zach Lipovsky.
Zach Lipovsky. He is known for just being a very cheap director, and he's gonna be making.
He made the Kim Possible movie.
Yeah, according to Lipovsky, he directed the live-action Kim Possible movie,
and he's also gonna be making Final Destination 6. So that's
wow.
But another thing about him is apparently. He was originally on a I went down this random rabbit hole where he was apparently on a TV show called On the Lot. It was produced by Steven Spielberg. It was like a Fox series that was made it was made to like compete against people, and they submit their short films and they have to compete against each other to see who's the best. And apparently he took 5th place. And all the meanwhile, this show was actually a complete disaster. Because the ratings were low, Steven Spielberg, everyone was worried he would never show up for the final episode where he would like give out the check for like DreamWorks. And the host left halfway through the season, and they had to replace her. And basically, the whole show was just an entire mess. And he was 5th place out of like 12,000 directors. That's how good he is. And he got like a TIFF. He got a TIFF 2018 placement for his short film as well. And basically he just did a bunch of random shit. He's a terrible director, but he just like went through a bunch of festivals and like game shows and got up to where he is. And basically I have a theory that this movie was just made so that it could boost his career, and which it didn't. So that's good.
It didn't, obviously, because now he's known as the guy who somehow found a way to ruin Leprechaun.
And Kim Possible too.
Congratulations. Yeah. He also ruined Kim Possible.
What's next?
Yeah. Also, like I said, the shots in this movie look awful, especially those terrible perspective shots we see, and like just these terrible angles, how overly dark the film looks. It just feels so depressing and boring. It's just like being stuck in this wasteland.
But yeah, because the director is only known for made-for-TV movies. He submitted a few short films, but also he was balancing also being a VFX artist. So it's like, okay, he's handling way too much, and he doesn't have enough skill to do it, especially for this movie. And he completely misunderstood what this movie is, since he basically just wanted to make something to boost his career and to be like a generic horror flick. And so it ends up being this random like manifestation of just random horror tropes, and it just completely misses the entire point of Leprechaun, because Leprechaun is inherently a silly concept and there's like an ironic value to it, but then he's like, where do we take this seriously? But why take it seriously? And
it doesn't work because he's like a killer leprechaun walking around. That's goofy. If you play it straight,
they took away everything that like
not
made him
even
interesting.
A leprechaun. It feels like when they show, I noticed like when they find out it's a leprechaun, even the characters feel confused that thing is supposed to be a leprechaun. Like what?
I don't understand like in any way how it could be. I think what happened was that they made like an entirely different movie, then they just slapped Leprechaun on it, because this is just so far removed from everything.
It's just another theory. Lame monster movie with nothing interesting, nothing to it, no substance. I can't. Let me try. Does anyone have it? Did you guys like anything about the movie? Tell me.
No.
Nah.
The closest thing I could find to a positive is this one small moment when I nearly chuckled. I nearly smirked when I watched.
You didn't even get the smirk. You nearly did.
I didn't get the smirk. No.
Basically, all I'm saying is Steven Spielberg
barely smirked. I saw the scene when the acting was like, and the reactions to the Leprechaun was like, so like stupidly and poorly filmed that I almost felt like it could be funny, but it wasn't. So that was the closest thing to a positive. How sad is that?
It's just a really disgusting movie.
It's just a very boring movie. I could understand someone maybe calling the Leprechaun movies a guilty pleasure. Like, I could understand Xander's perspective with Leprechaun 3, but for this movie, I don't understand why anyone would like it, honestly.
Because nobody does.
Yeah.
No,
Basically,
everyone.
all I'm
I think this is in like the anti-250.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
Pretty sure.
Good.
Yeah.
It deserves it.
Which,
Deserves
I mean,
it on Letterboxd.
I don't know if it's
anti-250.
Might not need to be that low. Maybe.
Let me
not
check. I
that
think it's
low.
in the Letterboxd
okay.
lowest.
Fab, like 1.2 bad. Like, hold on. Maybe a little higher. Not the worst. Worst thing.
Yeah, it's
insulting to me.
113 on 250. This
Okay.
is terrible. I honestly like couldn't stand it. I know I hated this movie more than I thought I would, and honestly I don't know. American Psycho 2 is a close second, but ignoring the 2022 movies, this is the worst movie I think we've talked about on the podcast.
I wouldn't say this is the fourth worst. I would say that Matrix 4, Pinocchio, and American Psycho 2. Well, maybe not Matrix 4. I might move it
Matrix
before
4
that.
is terrible, but at least I felt something while watching that. At least I felt something while playing Sonic Forces.
Well, Sonic Forces is more fun to play than this. I think it's a funny game sometimes.
Yeah, of course, Sonic Forces is funny. Isn't that right, Silver?
Yeah.
Killed
that right. I mean, I know that's weird to compare a game to like a movie like this, but you know what? Who cares? That's probably one of the worst things
I don't know. The point is, this is in the bottom 5 of things we have talked about.
Easily. It's my least favorite. Sure, there's other terrible things like Pinocchio 2022 and American Psycho 2 and Matrix 4, which are all terrible.
That's still the bottom spot for me.
It is easily like just such a drain. I just can't express just how nothing and drained I felt by the end. It is a worthless and substanceless experience. And honestly, I'm gonna say it. I might be over-exaggerating here, but this is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. You know? I'm saying that. This might be, I know you might be exaggerating, but I can't express how boring, how lame, how just terrible it is. I know you guys might have seen far worse, especially you, Silver. I know you've seen a lot of terrible movies, but I just personally couldn't stand it. I don't know. I might need to watch more terrible movies. So
I think me and Silver are like slightly high. Look, I think we all agree.
I know you
I'm
two
like,
are slightly more generous, while me and Xander are more negative with it. But
yeah, but you know, you're saying that I have seen a lot of terrible movies. In fact, I watched one worse than this one yesterday. It was called Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna talk about that like how we did with Pinocchio 2022, but probably not.
Just don't.
No one's even talking about
just
that.
Skip
movie.
it. Don't watch it.
Is this even a banner on Letterboxd?
Don't make me.
I mean, just look at the freaking poster for Pete's sakes. Like,
looks so.
Yeah,
as someone who's
really dark.
That's how the movie looks, by the way. That's just how
They
it
can't
looks.
even get good acting on the poster.
Still, I can't tell which one. Like, yeah.
Oh, they look so uninterested. Jesus Christ.
But like I said earlier, this film looks like, at best, it looks similar visually, if not worse, to a Disney remake in terms of how ugly it is.
Yeah, this movie is just insulting to me personally. That's why I have it at a half star.
Yeah, maybe it is kind of insulting. Just
as a long time Leprechaun enjoyer, it just really rubs me the wrong way. How this movie goes about trying to remake or reboot the Leprechaun franchise.
Imagine being
even looking at it on its own, it's just really bland too.
There's nothing to it. It's nothing. It gets nothing. It's shit.
This had no reason to be the way it is. Unlike the Hood movies, I just found this out.
Yeah,
because while this recording is happening, I'm looking between like various things. I found out that apparently the reason why the Hood movies were made was they took a survey, and apparently a lot of people who watched Leprechaun movies were African Americans, and so they decided, let's make a Hood movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure.
One thing that pissed me off is how they had the fucking gall at the end of the movie to say "fuck you, Lucky Charms" when the leprechaun dies. They had the gall to put that in.
That didn't make any sense.
That makes no sense.
You know,
like
almost every director had like a goal
like that.
Yeah,
so like
it doesn't make sense. No sane person will look at this and think it's a leprechaun.
The director had no okay. All the other Leprechaun directors, they had good intentions. They had at least interesting intentions. This, yeah, exactly. And this guy just has no intentions and just wants to make something that will just be generic enough to be passable.
It's a terrible horror movie. It's a terrible movie. Yeah, also the opening was kind of weird. Like when we just see these random two characters just running through a field without. I guess
there's
it's kind of like. I guess
remember they do shaky cam too, and that's
it looks terrible. Honestly, it's kind of like the opening for Willy's Wonderland, when we see two people die from the leprechaun after some people abandoned them as bait. So yeah. Like I said, the Willy's Wonderland comparisons kind of piss me off because it makes me wish I was watching that movie.
No, the opening the opening immediately sets how different it is. Because because like I did with the first four, I went through all these yesterday, a little earlier, so I didn't have to do the last one the morning after. But so I watched the four of these, and so I was going for the Hood films, and I'm like, wow, these are really zany, wacky times. Then I go to Origins, and right away I'm like, what happened? Why does it look like this? Why is the Leprechaun font so generic?
Yeah.
Usually the Leprechaun shows up and does like a quip by now. Where is
there's no quips. There's no quip. The Leprechaun doesn't talk because he's not a leprechaun. He's just Gollum. He looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but even more hideous and deformed and stupid. I have seen all of these Leprechaun movies, but I've only seen the first Lord of the Rings movie. How sad is that?
Oh, that is sad.
You know, maybe that was the thing that pissed me off the most about this movie. That made me wish I was watching good movies. Maybe that's why I hate it so much.
You should watch the Lord of the Rings show.
I tried to once, but I just kind of stopped with it. Who knows? Maybe this will finally be the year.
But the main thing is just like,
don't forget the Hobbit.
It's such a terrible movie in any way you can look at it from, and
I dare someone to like.
And they just didn't commit. Just didn't commit to anything. It's really bland.
I just can't see anyone enjoying this
movie. The one interesting idea they had was like the town thing, but they reveal it too early, and
they barely focus on the town. It's nothing.
Exactly. They don't dedicate anything to it.
It's about this house.
There's nothing about
They're in the house for most of the movie, and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. They just run away from the leprechaun, and the least they could do is at least show us the leprechaun and make him interesting or threatening. But he's not. He looks terrible, and he is.
If you didn't have the Leprechaun brand attached to it, it would still be bad.
Oh yeah.
But with the brand, it's just worse. Even if they were gonna make this by itself without any intentions of Leprechaun, it's just a really bad movie.
I'd probably still give it.
It has an idea. It has an idea here where it's like, oh, the town's trying to like sacrifice us. Like there's like a deep secret, but no, they just reveal it early on, and they kind of just ruin everything. And as a Leprechaun sequel, then it's even worse.
According to my notes, I remember one of the characters as watching his girlfriend die, just roaring while he watches her die. Like, yeah, so there's also bad acting in this movie, but most of the time it isn't even funny, and it's boring. I take back what I said about In Space. I mean, because at least that movie was funny at parts, even though parts of it were a bit boring, but at the same time...
In Space has Leprechaun using a gun, you know,
and a lightsaber, for Pete's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. There are iconic Leprechaun moments in Space.
Yeah, even though the whole movie itself is pretty terrible, but yeah.
I think this is the most time anyone has ever devoted to talking about Leprechaun origins.
Yeah, I feel like we're already saying like more.
The thing is, I thought this was gonna be a short discussion, but we kind of got into this one more.
It's solely because how terrible it is. The fact that it even exists is just annoying. Wow. It's like a Leprechaun live-action remake.
Yeah.
You could describe it.
Yeah.
So we should stop talking about it.
Yeah.
I will
on.
say, at least it's short, but it doesn't feel short. But we said
Oh
that,
yeah,
so
it feels like
it's
4 hours. It feels like the Snyder cut.
It feels as long as Return of the King, in a bad way, like a really bad way. It's
Yeah. No, yeah. Anyone else have anything else to say? Because I know some.
No.
Yeah, it
It's
feels
Always
like
Sunny in
Silver didn't have much
Philadelphia,
to say
season
about
1,
this
episode
movie.
1. The gang gets racist. My favorite. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. This movie.
you were talking about Leprechaun.
This shitty movie.
I
I
guess
think we should get on to our
rating
ratings. I honestly don't have anything else to say.
I don't give a shit. Let's move on.
And
Okay.
I'm giving this a half star, 1 out of 10. One of 2 movies I've talked about on this podcast that I have given the 1 out of 10 score.
Well,
The other one
I'm
being
gonna
American Psycho 2, even though like
that's
Pinocchio
weird.
2022 is also a close half star. But yeah.
I'm-
Terrible. Don't watch it. Like, just don't. I know you listen to this discussion and say, I'm gonna watch this movie regardless. Don't. Skip it.
Stop.
Unless you want to be a
Honestly,
Leprechaun
I forgot to mention
completionist.
this, but on
If-
Letterboxd,
If you really want to be an enthusiast and watch all the movies, then fine. But I'd
I was
recommend
thinking of
skipping
not
these.
even counting this movie because on Letterboxd it isn't even in the related films category.
Yeah.
Just to show how little value it has because this movie is completely different from the other 7. So like,
Yeah, exactly.
fuck you. That's what I can say to this movie. What about you
Yeah.
guys?
Anyway, I'm gonna give this a low 2 out of 10. Feels weird since you guys were really harsh, and I agree. But there's worse. I think. But yeah, bad movie. I didn't like it.
See, the only reason I'm giving this a 2 is just because there have been so many insanely, crazily disaster, awful movies that I've seen. I'm like, this is boring and worthless and awful. But it's not completely horribly made in every way.
I mean, I guess there was some.
That's
slight
why it's a 1 out of
production value,
100 for me.
But it's all wasted on such an ugly-looking movie, so I can't even compliment.
The main
that.
thing, okay, for my score, it's a 1 out of 100. But I'm gonna be honest, this is not the worst movie ever made.
I wouldn't say
I hate
the
it
worst movie ever
personally.
made, but some of the worst I've seen.
Personally, I hate it. But if we're looking at this from a more objective standpoint, there are way worse movies with way more horrible intentions and with way worse executions.
Yeah,
this is just
believe
really
it or
boring.
not, this is better than shit. Like this is better than The Lion King 2019.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
definitely.
Yeah, it's better. I don't care. Like this movie might be more boring, but that one is more downright offensive and terrible to me. Yeah. It's
All right.
that movie.
So,
Not the worst. Better than 2 Disney live action remakes, if that means anything. So congratulations. Yeah.
all right.
I don't know. I need to watch more terrible movies since there's probably much more terrible shit out there that I have yet to watch. So yeah, I think we've said everything. So Leprechaun returns. We're finally here. The final Leprechaun movie. And
The end of Evangelion of Leprechaun.
the end of Evangelion of the Leprechaun.
Surprisingly, this is the first one of these that's actually a sequel. You need
this
context.
is a sequel because it is the most. It is actually the Leprechaun is returning because
so for
not
those
like he
who
returned 7 more times, but
for those who've gone like really far into this video for no reason without watching these movies, this is the time when you actually have to watch them now.
yeah, 'cause
like-
this is a sequel to the first one. This
You
takes
gotta,
place in
you
the
have
same
to.
universe. Yeah, that's right. And sure, sometimes it's a bit confusing, but honestly, this is the best Leprechaun sequel. I
Surprising.
think it all comes down to the fact that it is a sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
That's one of the main reasons for me, because it
Main
feels
things.
like,
Yeah.
and it's not good. It's still a Leprechaun movie, but it's it's a tolerable Leprechaun movie, and that's what really matters at the end.
In fact, originally, the Mark Jones, the original guy behind the first movie, was set to be the producer and writer of this one, but he withdrew from the project because of salary reasons, so he did not participate. And the other thing is, Warwick Davis,
Yeah, he was
still
approached, but I heard something about I think it was something to do with his family, so they had to recast him.
No, the weird thing is, Origins, you could have brought back Warwick, but they didn't want to.
Yeah, because
and so by the time they tried to do it for 2018, he had a family with a kid, and he felt like
changed.
His life had changed at that point, and I think I've said this before, but he felt the need that he couldn't do horror movies when his kid is still young, and he said he would be back to doing horror movies if his children were 18, which that is the most respectable thing I could hear from someone like him.
Yeah,
especially working in a role like Leprechaun. He clearly cares and he would like to do it, but he's just he feels not the right time to. It's not necessarily any salary reasons or anything. He has a feeling that it won't work out for him, I guess.
The guy that did get, though, I will say, does a really great job. If they weren't going to get Warwick back, this is the next best thing.
Yeah, we have
I think he,
Mr. Lyndon Porco.
Lyndon Porco
was he fits it. He has the same presence. And while I guess at times it can sound a bit too high pitched, I think he definitely does a good job.
No, that's what makes him distinct for me, because he's he captures the same energy.
Sounds some sort of distinct, and I guess he at least tries to separate it. I guess,
and the way he laughs is different. Hee hee hee.
Yeah, he's funny. I liked him. I thought it was good. I thought he was good. He was a good recasting, and I didn't mind it.
It was not
there are
distracting.
parts where you can tell that he's a bit different, but I feel that might just come down to the design. But still, it still works. I like this Leprechaun.
He definitely looks way more gross in this.
Or maybe that might just be because we all hated the last Leprechaun in the last movie.
Yeah,
it might have been enhancing our love for this one a bit more, because maybe we just appreciate that this movie went back to what we moderately enjoyed about the other one, so maybe that's why we like him so much.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like this Leprechaun is a blend between the first movie and Back to the Hood Leprechaun in terms of design.
True. Yeah, no.
He's darker.
Yeah, he has the darker palette of Back to the Hood, but he still has the same
he even says,
the attitude
he even
as
points
the
out
first movie.
fact that he looks different. I noticed that.
Yeah.
I put it in my notes. So
they even have subtle details like that. They clearly care.
They care.
Great.
There's lots of little references here and there.
They bring back the iconic character of Ozzy. They bring him back. He's the only character they could bring back.
When I first watched this movie, I legit clapped when he showed up.
Freaking Leprechaun nostalgia bait over here.
Well,
it only works on me now. It only works on me.
Character in these movies I actually care about.
He's the only memorable. He's the only character I kind of remember from the first movie.
I remember the other characters. They're just not that compelling.
They couldn't get Jennifer Aniston back, but who knows that she was never going to come back.
Jennifer Aniston said he congratulated the director for continuing the original story of Leprechaun.
About damn time they do that. It took until 2018 to finally continue the original story.
But she wasn't contacted to even return anyway, so...
Yeah, I guess they didn't even bother
I doubt she would want to, so obviously not.
Yeah, they didn't get any of the, other two actors back. I thought they were gonna, maybe bring, a grown-up version of the kid from the first movie back if they wanted to, connect it more.
It seemed natural. It seemed natural. It really did.
Yeah, I guess, but that I think they could have added that. I guess. I mean, they didn't even need to I don't know. They didn't even need to bring back the same actor who played the kid. They could have just gotten a different actor, considering he would be all grown up now. But still, just kind of a small thing, I guess.
The weird thing for me, the more I think about it, if they brought the kid back, I don't really understand where his role would be at anyway.
Maybe he'd just be one of the main teens or something.
Ozzy isn't super important.
Yeah, I also like the little detail that Ozzy just puts clovers all over his truck for the Leprechaun. I found that funny.
Yeah.
But he's of course he's too dumb enough to realize, oh wait, no, I need to use real clovers, but he just doesn't.
that makes no sense to me. Isn't it supposed to be real clovers? Why did he use these fake ones to cover his car?
But that's in character.
It makes sense. It's a character.
Classic Ozzy.
Fine.
would.
The one character I remember from the first movie. Also, one thing I found funny is that basically the Leprechaun returns. The title, I said the title, but I guess he was in the well and the water like splashes on Ozzy, and for some reason Ozzy still somehow has the coin in his digestive system that he ate in the first movie, so that allows the Leprechaun to return. I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess that's coin has been stuck in Ozzy's digestive system for 25 years.
For some reason.
So was he constipated? But they don't really explain that.
He was in constant constipation.
Yeah, probably someone told him to get it checked out, but he was like, he was just too stupid enough to even do it anyway.
Didn't bother checking it out. And that's funny because like that's the entire reason the Leprechaun returns. But you know what? Who cares? I'm just happy.
Who cares? This is okay. This may not be good, but is one of the better Legacy sequels somehow.
Yeah, it is better than shit like Matrix.
For a Leprechaun movie, this is good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the best Leprechaun movie since the first one.
Yes,
that's true. That's true.
It's weird. They went from one of the worst ones, just straight up the worst one, to easily one of the best ones.
Well, I think it all just depended on the director, because the director, Steven, I forget his name. Kostansky. He's generally a fan.
Of Death, too.
Yeah.
No,
well,
he's just a segment.
A segment. But yeah, he genuinely does care about the movie, so it's great that he was able to like really hook his teeth into this like
he really cares about the character of Leprechaun and wanted to commemorate
because he clearly he knew he could like be marketable with like old characters coming back, but also at the same time Ozzy's actually sort of useful because he obviously becomes like a spirit at the end.
He's like that was weird. He just becomes
he's like a spirit,
ghost,
and then the girl tries to like ask him to like put on like foil wrap to put around his stomach in order to keep his intestines.
That was weird.
Inside.
What was the point of that if he's a freaking ghost? Even he doesn't know how he's alive in there. It's a weird thing.
He's still important. I mean, there's no other way he could have explained it.
Yeah, he dies
and plus
in,
it's funny.
First part of the movie, and then he just comes back as a Force ghost.
In a very gruesome kill too. Like
he bursts out. It's like an alien kill.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Alien, but I've seen all 8 Leprechaun movies. Another
Anyways, much higher priorities.
Yeah, much.
I mean, the Alien sequels are probably worse than Leprechaun movies.
I guess I'll try and explain the plot because we haven't really talked about that. We've mainly been talking about how grateful we are that this is better than Origins and the fact that it's a sequel to the first film.
Another thing about it that I really appreciate is the fact that, according to the director, it's all practical effects for the most part. Like most of it is genuine.
Some of it looks kind of bad, but honestly, this film looks decent visually, and that is a fucking miracle for a Leprechaun movie.
Because I'm gonna be honest, like every movie after 3 is terribly lit for the most part.
Especially
it's just that Origins is like
a whole new level.
They take it to
it looks so ugly. But we are
no joke. Some of the nighttime scenes in this movie are like lit better than like an average. Like you can see them better than like an average Origin scene.
I'm complimenting this movie for letting me be able to see the characters. Yeah. That's how bad Origins is.
That's how bad we can actually see the characters properly. Wow.
Yeah.
When we get to that shot of the Leprechaun up on the hill with the night lighting behind it.
That is a great shot. Like,
I think it's one of the best shots in the whole show.
But that was the part when
the directing in this is like actually pretty competent.
Yeah. So he gets it.
Yeah. What happens in this movie is that these one of the main characters related to Jennifer Aniston's character, who apparently went crazy and fucking died over the Leprechaun. So. Damn, that's kind of dark.
And then she just decides to go out to this place that her mother told her to. And the mother didn't explain this at all, but who cares?
Yeah, so she lives there with her sorority sisters who are trying to help the environment or something.
And then there's a bunch of pretentious bros there named Matt with his Scorsese pictures.
Film bro.
Yeah.
He's a film bro. He mentioned Scorsese, which makes
They
sense.
mentioned
because this
Scorsese,
movie
and then they mentioned a
in
random
cinema.
movie. I forgot.
They also
what it
mentioned
was.
That threw me off,
Rodriguez.
but
So
he has my
Yeah.
name, so he's great.
and they mentioned Scorsese, showing that this movie is in fact cinema.
And they make another reference. I forgot it was, but I pointed it out, and it was like really weird to me.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think they referenced Robert Rodriguez in one scene. So
I
that
think
was
they did
funny.
that too.
Yeah. So yeah, those were goated references.
There's just like one specific scene where they just referenced a bunch of shit for no reason.
Yeah, so
and then
now-
we just moved on.
Yeah, so
Strange.
now the Leprechaun is just after them now. And I guess I find it funny that just straight away the Leprechaun like just tries to get his thing back, you know, he tries to get what makes him special, so he just kills this poor mailman just to get his killing back. I found that
That's one of the best kills in the movie though, like I love that part.
Yeah.
It's
I thought the mailman for some reason looked kind of like Sylvester Stallone. I don't know why. That might have just been me. Who knows?
I don't see it. No.
I don't know. That was like in one scene. But yeah, I clapped when the iconic character of Ozzy back. This is the Leprechaun nostalgia bait right
I
here.
cried. I cummed. I clapped.
I think I'm just happy because this is the one. It's just so fascinating that this is like it took them till 2018 to think, hey, what if we make a sequel that is in the same universe as the first Leprechaun?
Yeah.
I find it funny that like in a movie where like it would make probably the most sense for Warwick Davis to recast his role, like replay his role. He just wasn't able to return like this one movie. I found that funny. But still, I don't mind his replacement, and I think it works well. So I don't mind it.
Yeah. The replacement's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So what happens in this movie is that it's just kind of the I guess let's get into I guess what actually happens in the movie. So yeah, I guess they're just trying to stop the Leprechaun throughout the movie.
That's it.
Yeah, that's really it. The characters are kind of there. Honestly, the characters are always there in Leprechaun.
The characters are just always there. Almost none of them are almost always not notable, except for like I guess the first three, not two. Well, not really.
Like I said, we don't have like in Back to the Hood. The characters are definitely there. Leprechaun 1, the characters are
in
there.
the Hood characters are great.
Yeah,
1 through 4 has at least like okay. The 1 through 4 at least has like some memorable parts for the characters.
2's characters kind of suck. Like,
most of the characters are just like kind of there in these movies. They're not really
3 and 4 have like easily the best characters, but that's not saying much because they're not good either.
Honestly, yeah, they're very good. 4 has some ironically funny characters, but some of them are pretty boring at the same time. But yeah, but this movie's characters are just kind of there. Like the
only reason I remember one of their names is because one of the people in this call right now is named Matt, so I had to remember
that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them gets killed with like the sprinklers, which was really dumb, but I love that part.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then the solar panel kill too.
The small leprechauns.
Oh, let's not forget that.
The
escalation of that situation is so good.
It looked like a scene from like it reminded me of a scene from one of those Goosebumps movies for some reason. Like just the way it like.
Oh yeah, the gnomes. Is that what you're talking about? The gnomes.
The gnomes. They reminded me of those in that movie.
Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and they just like beat up like the girls. I don't really buy their friendship that much. I don't know, but like at the same time, I'm just happy that this movie is watchable. So I guess that's where we're at now.
This is how low the bar is.
So low. It's not a good movie. There isn't really anything. It's a Leprechaun movie. Yeah.
What more could you want? Why not have a
what more could you want anymore?
When you see a scene where a guy gets like sliced in half by a solar panel, what else do you need? Like legitimately.
Some of the gore looks hilarious. I like I like the scene when like the guy who dies from the solar panel, his girlfriend walks up and just falls into his dead corpse and just like gets mad at his corpse for some reason.
Yeah, that part's really weird.
There's scenes like that that are just like so dumb. Also, the reason the Leprechaun is pissed, as per usual, is because he wants his gold. So apparently, the reason they don't have all the gold is because one of the girls used the gold for the sake of their just to fund their environment project. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's weird messages about
business stuff,
about environmentalism for some reason. Yeah. I noticed.
Yeah, there's a lot of environmentalism in this movie for some reason.
It's actively against eco-friendly tools. I don't get that part, but
I think that's just the characters. I don't know if the movie's really trying to say anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a constant. There's not any deep commentary, but for some reason they keep that as a theme, a vague theme for no reason.
Yeah, it's just I thought that one or two of the characters were talking about it, and then the Leprechaun kind of makes fun of stuff like that for a little bit. But that's all I remember.
I think I've seen some reviews try to deep dive into that when really it's barely noticed.
Leprechaun.
Talking about something like that too much.
The only movie I'd argue has some sort of theme is Leprechaun 3, and the director says that too, so I don't know.
And looking on Letterboxd,
but I don't know if I trust him.
I noticed a lot of the top reviews for this movie are weirdly positive.
Well, to be fair, I think
it's just refreshing.
Who are going to watch this movie,
it's fun. It's fun.
The people who are going to watch this movie are weird Leprechaun nerds like us who would be very satisfied.
Yeah, I'm glad they ended on the Leprechaun franchise on a bang. Unless they make another Leprechaun movie after this. You think that will ever happen? You think that's gonna ever happen?
Like I said, after this movie came out, the director of Spiral, Saw 2, and whatever.
I was gonna bring that up.
He's oh, hey, I've been asking for years for a Leprechaun movie, and he's like, if I ever do one, I'd bring Warwick Davis back.
And we see Davis's Leprechaun return.
And he compared it to something we always need Robert Englund for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's it's silly, it's fun. And I know exactly what he's going to do with it, where he's going to make it entirely goofy, but he wouldn't be able to capture the comedy at all.
Can't wait for Leprechaun Back 2 Returns. Can't wait for that.
Don't let Darren Lynn Boozman have one of these movies. He's going to put a piss filter on it. I know it.
Yeah, look at this tweet. It's so condescending. Let me read this out. Because someday, at Lionsgate will take me seriously and actually call me about this. I've only been begging for 2 decades, but whatever. Jesus Christ. Could you at least
salty.
Could you at least be professional?
This
man's not professional.
About the Leprechaun movies. This man is way too passionate about that.
It's fair, but also
I mean, I'm passionate, but at least I'm professional.
Yeah, you're the one who has been giving us all this fascinating information about each of these movies.
Yeah. You've kind of been carrying the Leprechaun films with all this trivia.
Yeah, all this interesting IMDb trivia, or whatever the hell you're getting this from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's got a lot of different sources. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, the weird thing with the ending when they destroy the Leprechaun. Also, I like how they attempt to freaking blow him up with a shamrock shake.
Okay, at first, and it's just a really quickly edited scene, oddly energetic scene, where just setting up this plan, and they blow him up the death in Child's Play 2.
And he becomes small leprechauns because apparently the leprechaun.
Yeah, and then that happens, and it basically just becomes Army of Darkness for a brief moment.
If he could do that, why when he exploded at the end of the last movie? Wait, didn't the well explode at the end of the first movie?
That's true.
Did they rebuild it? Why would they do that? Hold up.
Hey! Stop questioning it. Stop questioning logic.
Also,
it's a Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, it's just something I would like to mention.
Calm down.
Because the character, I know. Also, if the Leprechaun could just reform himself with his small things.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of questionable things about his reformation and the way he can transfer into other people.
Apparently, they add another weakness to him because now they borrow a weakness from Leprechaun 2 because he's now also feared of iron as well. I mean, Clover is still a part of his weakness, but that's another.
Like I said, this movie just kind of I guess it kind of takes a dash of every single Leprechaun movie except for Space. I guess
it's the culmination of everything this franchise has led up to. It is the Avengers Endgame of the Leprechaun movies.
No, that implies that it's good. No.
Okay. This is the return of the king of Leprechaun movies.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a culmination of everything I love about these movies. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we may not have Warwick Davis, but everything else perfect. But like even like the replacement for Warwick Davis, like I said. great.
Ozzy was kind of the supplement for not having Warwick. He kind of like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
brought the
One actor
Leprechaun
they were able to
vibes
get
back.
It's like before Ozzy was on board with the movie, it's like at an imbalance, but then once he's there, it's a balance. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
really well done.
Back to how
Now
it
he
should
works
be.
at like. Now he's just a handyman again. Yeah, just working at a car, just working for cars and whatnot, just chilling. and then he dies alien style from the Leprechaun, and then he comes back as a Force ghost, and they never explain that.
Okay, I will say I did not expect that Force like that
was
ghost
weird.
part at all. But
What-
it kind of flew over my head.
What's
I
kind of
never
the
got
point of
that.
that? I guess it was just kind of to lead the main
Okay.
character in places. Oh well, glad we saw more of Ozzy again. Despite
Yeah,
it not
it's great.
making much sense, but oh well. Who cares? It's a Leprechaun movie. Anyways, yeah, it's a movie. It's one of the movies ever made.
Hey,
Stop.
stop talking.
Why do you guys
Stop
hate
it,
that
you
so
know.
much?
I hate that term.
I could talk about that, but that would derail the whole thing. So
Anyways.
No, you definitely should. It could fill up runtime
Yeah.
if you want.
I also remember the scene where one of the girls locks the main character in the basement to basically give her as bait to the Leprechaun, and then just
Yeah.
and then like you just know that the character's gonna get karma for that by the Leprechaun. I also like how the Leprechaun just like for some reason he tells one of the girls that he won't lay a hand on her, but then like he decides to kill her anyway. So what was the point in making that deal? Well, he just like
There's also scenes where he's just on the sink and no one notices until like the camera has to point it out.
yeah, all,
And then
all
there's
the
scenes like
selfies they
where
take
like
with
they're in the
Leprechaun.
back out.
Two characters in this movie
that.
take selfies with the Leprechaun.
That's weird. And then there's like the blackout scene
Yeah.
where like where this guy starts like actually assaulting a woman while they're like trying to fix this blackout. Like this doesn't seem like the right time, you know? It's like really.
Yeah.
And then they cut to like the girl watching that for some reason, and that's even weirder.
Also, the main character feels like she doesn't have like the biggest like reaction a normal person would have to seeing the Leprechaun. She's all like, "Whoa,
No.
wow,
Yeah, no. She's like, whoa, for a second, and then she just kind of moves
is that a
on.
leprechaun? No way."
It's a little midget man.
No, it's
I
not
mean,
midget.
like, I don't know. It's like, it's just funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the characters
is
have
funny.
like at first, like two of the characters just have like very melodramatic reactions to seeing the Leprechaun, and then later they start like panicking over it and like running in the forest over it. So
Yeah, sure. This movie has like a good amount of stupidity, but also it's like it feels fine. It doesn't
I
feel
love
like
it.
outwardly
Yeah, I love it.
I
stupid.
love it
Plus,
when the leprechaun starts riding on top of the drone,
oh, that's great.
That scene was
So
funny.
weird. Right?
and then he just runs into a branch and impales his face.
And
I
it-
don't worry, he's back in the
Yeah,
next
no,
scene.
throughout this movie, it's just like there's just a ton of body
Remember
horror
when, like,
involving his
one
like
of the
face and like body.
Characters like
Crazy.
nearly cuts his head off, and then he just reforms it.
Yeah,
just
And his
just
head is just a hand.
puts it back on.
just puts
He
it
can
back
just
on.
do that
So-
apparently.
Yeah, this leprechaun is like a Frankenstein where he could just like do whatever he want with his body. Like at one point, he just like rips off his face for like a brief second, and he puts it back on like it's
He
nothing.
just a little jump scare.
Yeah,
little
so odd.
Speaking of jump scares, I forgot to mention that Origins had like a lot of annoying instances of jump scares and cuts, especially
Yeah.
since there were like
Yeah.
poor perspective shots.
Well, this
Forgot to mention
didn't.
that.
This was just relying on the fact that it's the leprechaun goofy stuff. You're here for that. We know.
Yeah, it's here
It
for
felt
what
like an apology
what
letter.
this film should have
you
been
got-
made in like years ago.
See, if
But, oh, well.
Origins like wasn't
The
as
sequel
bad
to-
as it was, then this movie would not be as good as it is. And it's like
Other
okay,
than that, it's a miracle of a film based off of how
It's a
terrible
miracle.
Origins is.
because the director clearly, I think he knew how bad Origins was, so he just tried his best in
Yeah,
order
how he
to
Yeah.
make
somehow
it the most
ruined
appealing
the Leprechaun
possible.
franchise with how terrible it was.
It's fan service for Leprechaun fans, and you know what? It doesn't feel forced. In fact, I enjoy it a lot for it.
For people who actually watched the Leprechaun 1 when it was released, I wonder if they ended up watching this and actually felt nostalgic for it.
Oh, that would be... I can imagine that being cool.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That would be neat.
Yeah, like absolutely, the crowd absolutely going wild when Ozzy appears on screen.
Okay, imagine like a book theater full of people ready to watch Leprechaun Returns. That sounds cool.
It's like the
I'm
No Way
excited
Home.
for Michael Keaton in The Flash.
No Way Home, but for Leprechaun, or like
Yeah,
Top
the
Gun
No Way
Maverick for
Home, the
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun movies. That's a better way to describe it.
Yeah,
It's
great.
Yeah. Anyways, do we have anything else to say?
I do not have much actually.
Considering I have like, I think the only note I have that I haven't already read is the alternate titles that were considered was Leprechaun Lives, and and the other one is actually a Leprechaun Renewable Enemy, and it's a pun on like renewable energy. So see, that proves my theory. There's a clear theme of like weird like environmentalism.
Why
It's weird.
this
I don't like
movie,
that.
they focus a lot of the dialogue is weirdly dedicated to it. But
I mean, the Leprechaun is recyclable in a way.
yeah.
It's very
True.
recyclable.
The Leprechaun.
I think
the
Leprechaun
Leprechaun is
would
like
be
the
a weird
Lorax. He's like the
title,
Lorax.
really.
He teaches us how to help the environment.
Actually, no. You know, this is kind of like the Jason Lives of Leprechaun because it's the really good.
I don't think Leprechaun Lives would be good for like the final movie. Like Lives is like I don't know.
That should be Leprechaun Back to Returns.
Okay, that sounds stupid.
Yeah, can't wait for.
Or they
can't wait
could
for
have
that.
gone with the end of Leprechaun.
One last thing, I would like to quickly mention is like a weird thing that confused me. I don't know if it confused you guys, but like it was like near the ending when they like tried to trick the Leprechaun by like using this iron, I guess, and disguise it as gold, I guess, but like it's kind of all done off screen and it's shown in like a weirdly confusing way. Also, the ending with the Leprechaun just like when after the Leprechaun dies, we just see him like freaking try and like find a way to get his goal. Like he just somehow just survives and tries to get a ride. Like that was weird. Like wait, what did he survive?
Oh yeah, he
What the
bums a
hell?
ride.
Did he
I love
survive?
that scene.
What was that? So did the Leprechaun somehow survive? I guess because like why did we just cut to that at the ending? They never explained.
Well, yeah, because remember we saw like all the green goop explode, so he just reformed
He
again.
just reformed probably. Yeah, there's no way to kill him. It's kind of unless it's the
He just
well.
keeps on going.
Yeah,
Keeps going.
he
It's fine.
always comes back.
Yeah.
Those FNAF
I
things.
guess.
Yeah, can't wait
Yeah.
for. Yeah, can't wait for Leprechaun
FNAF
After
movie.
Returns. And the FNAF movie, yes, obviously.
Yeah, FNAF movie and
Leprechaun versus
Saw
Five
X.
Nights at Freddy's.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I hope
Leprechaun
FNAF is a
versus Freddy.
success. Oh.
Yeah, just so we can get that movie, which will probably never happen. But imagine if it did, that would be epic.
I
Yeah,
hope
imagine.
I hope Saw X is like a major failure, and I'll be the only person to see it. I want that to happen.
It just bombs at the box office, and we just.
I don't
have
think that'll
Xander
happen,
just sitting
but
in the
a
theater
man
alone.
can dream.
Man can dream.
I guess Xander's gonna go see Saw X and FNAF movie the same day, huh?
Oh yeah, no, I have plans. I have plans.
Anyways, I guess that's it. Do you have anything else to say, or should we finally wrap up this Leprechaun video?
It's time to put all the coins back in the pot. We're done.
Yeah, that's a nice. That's a nice.
I think we're ready to wrap up this Leprechaun.
Well,
Yes.
you know,
Oh, go on.
wait, I have one more comment. You know,
Okay.
to link this back to the Santa Claus review. As many as there were bad characters in these movies, none of them were as bad as Simon.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Oh yeah,
actually.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, screw Simon and screw Neil. Screw Neil as well, even though
Oh, yeah, I
Simon
hate
is so
Neil.
much worse.
Yeah.
I hate them both. I hate
You get a
Simon.
You get a Simon versus Leprechaun video.
Simon versus Leprechaun. Leprechaun would absolutely destroy him, though. Not even a fair match.
Yeah, but that would be
honestly.
fun.
I would like to see Simon in the next Leprechaun movie.
Yeah, or Neil.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10.
I think I would go 4 as well.
But it's a
I agree.
higher 4. Okay, it's better than
Yeah.
100.
It's near
obviously.
Leprechaun 1 tier.
It's closer to a 5 than a 3.
It's clearly 100, obviously.
What was your?
Yeah, sure.
What will it be your
We'll let you have the
actual
biased
rating,
Leprechaun
though?
rating again.
Hey.
Sure.
Okay, well, realistically, it's like a 50 or 49, but like, who cares?
Yeah,
Fair.
49 probably.
All right. Anyways, we all got our ratings. We'll set it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
4 out of 10s. It
We're both
seems.
set.
So that's
Yes.
it. That's the end. Thank you for sticking through all of these Leprechaun thing. If you happy you made it to the end, but
We're lucky. We're lucky enough to make it to the end.
you
You
were
might say.
lucky enough.
We're lucky we were able to do all this. We've been playing
Yeah,
this
after like
for so long now.
after like 2
We
months.
played this for a long time. We
Ugh.
actually planned it like a long time ago. We just had trouble
See,
like
you know,
finding when to film it, but we finally
Yep.
did.
Yeah, originally this was gonna be
You
on St.
did it.
Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Dang.
but like St. Patrick's Day was like a month ago. We did.
Oh God!
It was Easter a
It
couple
was
weeks
over a month
ago.
ago.
So
And now this month is
Nearly
ending.
May.
That's
Yeah.
even weirder.
Jesus.
yeah, now it's May. We're supposed to do this a month ago.
Oh
well.
God!
But we actually did it anyway.
We did it.
Yeah. I guess next episode we'll have another guest, but you'll see for that. Won't say, but we
Oh,
definitely mentioned him in the past. But yeah, I don't know.
I've definitely hinted at him
Yeah.
a couple times.
Yep. It
Boy.
was nice having you.
Type
two.
of person to love talking dogs. I hate him.
It was nice to have
Okay,
Silver
yeah,
and
yeah.
Xander back on the podcast for these.
Thank you
videos.
both for coming on and sticking by us. It was
Yeah.
quite nice having
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
of you on.
Two
No,
for
I-
other episodes.
Anytime.
Though
Yeah,
we're
I've
gonna
always
give the
wanted to talk
spotlight
about these
other
movies, but now I
guests
finally did
now. But it's
Yeah.
nice for you guys to come back
Yeah.
for this epic binge of all 8 Leprechaun movies.
Yeah.
I mean, all
was
7
Don't worry,
Leprechaun
Silver. We'll call you
movies.
back in
And,
for the
the-
Santa Clauses season 2.
yeah.
Don't-
Yeah.
Yeah,
I must
maybe
say-
we'll do that. Who knows? Yeah, we kind of feel awful.
Yeah, I
No,
must
we
say,
won't.
I must
We
say,
won't.
revisiting and discussing these movies has finally been relieving for me because I have a very close connection with these movies, and now I can
Yeah.
finally just like talk about them.
Yeah.
So that's nice, and I'm glad you guys are able to enjoy them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hoped you would, but
Uh-huh.
that's good.
Yeah, we talked about all 8 Leprechaun movies. If you're wondering, do we all think? I mean, except Xander, since I know he thinks the third one's the best, but I think the first one is easily my favorite.
Okay, if we're looking for a
I
more
agree.
objective standpoint, the first one, yeah, is the
The
best.
first one,
I have a
Returns is
weird
close
Leprechaun rank, but I think we have like general opinion that we.
Oh,
agree
I'll
Should we
on.
post
say
mine.
our Leprechaun ranks before we end?
Okay,
the video?
can I? Okay, so my rank is I would go from worst to best. It's controversial, but I go Origins,
Uh-huh.
4, 2,
Oh,
Back to the Hood, In the Hood, 3, Returns, and then Leprechaun the original.
That
That's
is
my
a
rank.
Mine is different. Mine is Origins, Space, In the Hood, To the Hood, to Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun Returns, and the first one.
Right.
for
I
me,
go In the Hood a little
it's-
higher, but
for me, it's Origins, then it's In the Hood, then it's In Space, then it's 2, and then it's Back to the Hood, and then it's Leprechaun, and then there's Returns, and then there's 3.
I think that some of that might be a bit biased. What about you, Silver? What's your ranking?
It's like a tie between Origins and In Space for like the bottom spot because if I'm being real, In Space makes less sense, but
Yeah,
it's
but,
like
like,
way more
it's
entertaining.
But like it's
Yeah.
but at least
Oh,
Oh yeah, if
Space
we're thinking in like in
has-
terms of enjoyment, then
like-
Space is up there. Space is up there.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to do like
Then,
objective, but also like my own personal rank.
Then above that, we'll put In the Hood, and then Back to the Hood, 2, 3, Returns, 1.
Oh, we have
Sure.
the same ranking, it seems. All right.
Oh, okay.
It looks like we both have similar thoughts on the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah,
I'm the one out here batting
I could be
for
convinced
In the
to
Hood.
like put 2
No
below
one
Back
else
to
is
the Hood
really-
though.
Yes, yeah, maybe.
enough.
I don't know. I might lower my score for 2 at some point. Who knows? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yes, finally.
it's the weakest of the main 4. The worst of the main four, but yeah. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching all of these.
Hope you all have a happy little day.
Oh,
I feel sweet.
Yeah, we could have said Happy Patrick's Day, but oh well. Have a good day.
Happy, more than a month late St. Patrick's Day, since it's almost
that too.
May at the time we're recording this. So
yeah,
thanks for watching, and yeah, see ya.
Bye. Have a day.
Bye bye.